over.
But then after a while, you just kind of
Enough of that joke, move on!
Let's keep it light-hearted, because why not? She's gonna get fucking,
No!
she's gonna get absolutely fucking bad for her quite a bit. There's only 2 people watching. That's what I am one of them.
I'm the
At least
other.
everyone missed echoing there because I forgot to actually mute the tab because I was listening to you before.
Nice. So, hello. Welcome to the latest in our Sanity check-in for 2023. We are Sanity check-in, as the name hasn't been seen, or if you're not watching the channel, I've joined with a couple of our good players here from various games, but more importantly, more so from the D&D section, which will be coming up quite a bit here as we go forward. So again, we go to my left, no, my right. If you, so go to my right, which is Lee.
Me. Yeah, Lee. I run games and play characters and do stuff. I have strong opinions on everything we're going to talk about, and I've definitely researched them all.
Yeah, and he's doing nothing of that. Next on this side is our good friend David. David, say hi.
I still had my mute on just there. Howdy, everybody.
It's going to be a lot, because everyone's going to be pushing to talk. There's 8 of us tonight. From here, we will go down to this side, our lovely ball of sunshine, which happens to be Sally. Sally, say hi.
Hello, I'm Sally. I'm a player, and I have no idea what we're talking about tonight.
Excellent. You can be everyone else that's watching if they don't know. And on this side, we have our resident babyface, Leon. Leon, say hi.
Hi everyone. I love Dungeons and Dragons. Yeah, fair.
No, she'll get
Kill him! Burn him at the stake!
Well, down below is our second of our token females. It's Rach. Say hi.
Hey, I'm Rachel, and I am very sad.
Down below.
Just in general, or
on this side?
No, about the topic.
Man. Yes, it's true. Down below,
well, yes.
Rachel, on this side, the faceless man that we know as Real Slime Arbo.
No.
Forget if you also know his name.
No, I do not exist.
Yes, he is a meat popsicle right now.
He is a little ball of void and emptiness.
Yes, because he too is very upset about his favourite game D&D being brought out.
Oh yeah, absolutely my favourite game ever.
Yeah, he is so angry. I mean,
I'm not going to be able to live without it. I'm going to cry myself to sleep.
Yeah, he literally took 3 players' handbooks and just ripped them, and they were all hardback. He was that angry.
Ripped them with my feet as well.
Everyone who stands for the Melgrim down this side, we have our good friend Scott. Say hi, Scott.
Hi.
Hello.
Do you want me to say anything else?
Scott. No, thank you, Scott. I'll do it. So,
give some more feeling.
It's been a week. It's been a good couple of weeks, hasn't it, guys? If you're tuning into this, we all know what's happening with Dungeons and Dragons right now. If you don't, then there are ways you can look up. You can look up the Legal Eagle video, which we can't link because we're not linking anything. There's other videos out there. D&D Shorts actually didn't do too badly. Actually, the video, I've seen it. It's not too bad. Not personally a big fan, but D&D Shorts is okay. There's also others. Mark Hume's put one out recently as well for half an hour. He's actually not too bad the way he put one out. I think Jenny D did one as well. There's all these famous people from the D&D kind of thing. OGL. I am. Let's just go straight into it. Yeah, we're not playing D&D anymore. It's as simple as. It's as simple as that. It affects everybody. As many people who think will turn around and say this doesn't affect those as many as you think. No, this affects everybody. I mean, if you're purposely going out there and stopping the content, what content is there? It doesn't matter. It really doesn't. So the thing is, we're not playing D&D anymore. We're standing with this. It's a horrible thing. The worst thing about it is history has a way of repeating itself, and it always is doomed to repeat itself if people don't take the lessons that were learned from the last time. They've already done this before. They have tried to do this before, and you see the backlash. This is why 5e came into existence. So you need to look at this and go realise, we have to, it's basically it. Unfortunately, though, with that, though, will be the end of the world of Florium. Yes, it is unfortunate, but we have ideas going forward to hopefully get more views on the channel, hopefully get more games involved in the channel, and other systems out there, which is something we have been doing, but we will be doing more so now, and at a little bit of a quicker pace, just to put more systems out there for you guys, anyone watching who is interested in this kind of thing. Well, like I say, that's pretty much my piece on the matter. However, I'm sure others will have, like I say, the OGL sucked, man. That is, Wizards of the Coast sucked. Hasbro sucks. But another thing you should remember is it's not the game's fault. It's not the designer's fault. This is beyond them. This is corporate. This is all corporate. If it's anything about money, it's you always follow the money, and it's always going to be some rich, fat white guy on the top going, we could probably make more money out of this. So, for fuck's sake, try and be nice to each other, even though the D&T community is an absolute smouldering pile of shit. Anyone else want to get anything else to say to that? Or have I just covered all of it in a big umbrella?
You
I'm
just
going to
like
throw some
dump.
stuff out there.
Yeah.
I'll throw some stuff. First of all, I'm still going to run Florian, right? Because, not Florian, Floria. Like that module I got bought for me.
I mean, if you just want to take over.
I bought that shit already, right? It was all third-party content I bought that from as well. Right? So, like, it's not like Wizards are going to rent my house, right? Lee, you owe us a $5. It's like, no, I don't. So, if you guys want to keep playing 5e, you go right ahead. As long as you can tap them in other ways.
Here's the thing, Lee. One, if Wizards could get away with it, they would send a death squad to your house to take a $5 off you.
Well, look, by and large, every corporation in the world would fucking love that, right? You know, that's not just specific to them.
And secondly, like Dick was saying, this does affect everyone, especially when it comes to viewership. Like the D&D is fucking crashing and burning right now. How many people do you think are going to go, I'm going to go watch a D&D stream? Oh wait, isn't that the company that hates the people that play the game?
Yeah. Right. How true is that going to be moving forward? Because you guys tell me this stuff all the time, right? Now, what's the actual percentage we're talking here? Are we talking 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60? Because your average punter, and I've said this to you before, your average punter doesn't have a clue. Like, see your average punter buying a manual tomorrow, who's not really following, just like playing D&D with their pals, they picked it up during COVID. They're not going to have a fucking clue about any of this because they probably don't follow any Facebook.
I get a message from my mum saying, "What's going on with Dungeons and Dragons?" My mum,
your mum who knows you're massively interested.
A 70-year-old boomer, who only knows Dungeons and Dragons is that cartoon from the 80s.
Yeah. The thing you're saying though, Lee, it says your Floria thing. What does that run through?
It's Roll20.
Oh,
it's already bought the paper.
Yeah, and that could very well.
You guys keep saying this. I'll be really interested to see if it does.
Roll20
if it does, I will apologise to you on.
Yeah, no, Roll20 could. No, Roll20 could just go. You know what? We're not doing D&D anymore because a lot of companies are starting to do that.
They might not do it moving forward, so they're going to rid of content I own already. Is that how
That's
that works?
not your content.
Would they not have to give you your money back?
You're renting it, man.
Yeah, they will. You're renting it. They
can, it's digital.
Just
unless you could download it.
Well, again, it was third-party content. It was never from. It was never from Wizards. So they'll.
But it was published under the OGL.
So they can't do it without it costing them money.
So the thing is, it was published under the OGL, and if Wizards get their way and make this new OGL 1.1 or 2.0 or whatever it is apply retroactively.
Is that another massive thing that Piazza are getting into them with right now? Who's going to be dragged through the course?
I'm not saying that Piazza.
Piazza are trying to, but they're not going to do it.
Scott also diminishes people when you laugh at the way you pronounce things they don't know how to pronounce.
Hey, I pronounce things poorly all the time. We had a pure giggle about the way I said Nyarlathotep.
Yeah, that's because you're Scottish though. Anyhow.
But yeah,
again, going back to what you were saying as well. This is back to my last point. D&T communities are an absolute shit show. They are. See, when someone is angry in there, they don't care who the swing is. If even you only have to have mentioned D&D once a long time ago, 5 years, and they will be angry at you. everyone's going to get affected by this, even on a community level, simply because you doing DD? Well, I'm not watching. And to be fair, we don't pick up a lot of people views through D&D because D&D is that well known, and a lot of people are running D&D. Less people will be running D&D because of this, and mostly if they're going to go and see D&D content, they're going to go and see the bigger channels, which is one of the reasons why I'm saying maybe we should pull it now. Because the only reason I'm bringing this up is because of the OGL, is because there's no point for purposes of the channel going forward and getting stronger, more views and hits.
Sally has a question.
Sally.
Do you enjoy playing them?
I have always enjoyed TTRPGs.
So why give up something that you enjoy?
Mostly principle. Mostly because these arseholes have tried this before and this place is burning.
I mean,
Are you just cutting off your nose to spite your face in? So you're doing it because...
With a lot of these companies. Sorry, on
were you finished talking, Sally?
Yeah, it's fine. I just don't understand why you'd stop playing something that you enjoy just because you don't like the people that do it. It's like finding out one of your favorite rock bands has done something bad and then not listening to them. Now, yes, Lost Prophets is up there. We all know that. As soon as they come on, we turn it off. We know. But there's lesser crimes that can be done that have happened, but we still listen to their music. I don't listen to Lost Prophets because fuck that guy. But you see what I mean? Like, there's people that have got DUIs or that have done something morally wrong. We don't stop enjoying what their music means to us. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why would you do that for a game?
I get that, Sally. It's what we're finding with this whole, what's been coming out of Hasbro WotC is they basically have just went pretty much mask off and said, we just view our community as just bags of money.
That is what we are to them, though.
Yeah, we are.
But
most corporations have the decency to pretend that we're not.
Do they? Or are you just now seeing it?
See, the thing is...
So before we go any further, Leon did have a question. He raised his hand.
Oh, yeah, okay. Leon.
Cheers, Leon. I just wanted to bounce off of the
Leon, you're muted still.
No, I can hear him.
He's speaking, he's just not
I can't
loud.
hear him.
If you muted him,
Sorry.
Not muted him. Okay, sorry.
So, I wanted to bounce off of the analogy that Sally made, and one that I thought of was FIFA and the World Cup. FIFA is a terrible organization, but people still watch the World Cup, you know?
Very, very valid, mate. Obviously, and guilty of way worse. They supported slavery.
Yeah, massively. And as a game, I'm gonna be playing this not on the stream, but I've been playing a game with my uncle and my cousins for I think 3 years now, and I just want to keep on doing that. It's something that I quite enjoy. So, but yeah, and also I feel like there's part of it as like a sunk cost to it. I've bought all of these books and I've learned all of these mechanics. If I was to go into something else, I wouldn't really know where to start. You know what I'm saying?
Scott, what you got, Matt?
My point was going to be, at the end of the day, I actually prefer other systems than D&D, so like it's not the biggest thing for me. But I also have to say, with what everybody's been saying, I think this boycott will last a couple of months and then people will go back to D&D.
That's what Wizards are hoping for.
Yeah,
that is the messaging that is going on internally at Wizards right now. They're saying, no, that this will all blow over and everyone will forget in a couple of months. And we might see that happen. But there's just been so much erosion in the faith, the good faith that they built up over 5th edition, that I don't really see them coming back from this.
Yeah, on top of that, one of the major points I put across to you was the fact that says we're not getting major hits off of D&D anyway. It doesn't really matter if we drop D&D from the program. You're getting more views from more systems, from out systems, because Mutant was a fantastic example of that.
Possible.
Yeah, you get more views because when you go and Google D&D content, this is purely from a channel, from the channel way. I mean, yeah.
Our D&D stuff's getting like 1 or 2 views.
For sure. For sure. This is the thing. I understand
that was previous to the OGL thing. That's nothing to do with what's happening recently.
Are we in it for the views or?
Well, I think Rachel ultimately.
Right. Sally's been trying to talk for ages, and we've done that thing already where we'll talk. So Sally,
Like Rachel literally said what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Are we in it for the views? Are we
Well,
doing it because we actually enjoy it?
Alex, what happened to Ralph?
To answer that question, ultimately, you know, the ulterior motive of streaming is to make money. That's kind of what we're sort of doing this for.
To be fair though, with
what?
You might be. I'm
if
not.
that's what we're doing it for, then we're doing shit.
I'm not doing it for it, right? But you know,
yeah,
we're monetized. We're making revenue.
It's like,
we are making money off this.
I would say we're making money off it, but if we wanted to make major money, this would be the worst tactic system how we would do it.
Another point I put across was highlighting more systems and more game companies for that reason, which is one of the reasons why we should be doing it. Because again, going back to the immoral practices of Hasbro and fucking Wizards of the Coast doing what they're doing with D&D, I do not think D&D should enjoy the spotlight. So why are we using them? I don't. This is another thing. Like I say, the points I put across were one. The fact is, D&D's a mess right now. Two, we can make the channel stronger by getting different folk into different games because we're getting more hits from playing different systems in different games. And three, come on, even as a moral standpoint, it's a case of highlighting more games that probably deserve more of a light on. That is a good reason to go forward.
Sally?
Who's saying that? Can you tell me what other systems there are?
Well,
yes,
this one.
That's actually a good
point.
point.
This one. We've got this
got
one
already.
We've got
I don't know what they are. I can't read that quick.
Well, I mean, for starters, I'm currently reading through the Pathfinder Second Edition book because that's like the big alternative right now that everyone's jumping ship to.
I jumped out
And
the
how
frying pan.
complicated
Jumping
are
the
they?
frying pan.
Yeah. Jumping from one evil corporation to a slightly less evil corporation.
And how complicated are they to learn compared to
Paizo's
D&D?
systems? Is Pathfinder very close to D&D?
Yeah, it's literally
3.5.
Paizo's Pathfinder's literally just D&D wearing a hat and trench coat.
Yeah, 3.5 is where they
The
changed
flasher.
all. 3.5 is where they got rid of 3 and 3.5 is where they got rid of the Thaco rule and just made it D20 and you're trying to hit stuff as opposed to try and math it your way out of things. So as a valid system you can go into, it would stick to for those who don't really much know about the kind of rule sets of others, but understand the 5e system. You can go for that. But again, you get the vampire system, you get the White Wolf system. Well, it's no White Wolf. What is it? You get the vampire systems. You got Cthulhu, which is Chaosium.
And they even have medieval set and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
And you've got Wifrip. You've got Wifrip.
We get Nightfall games as well.
That is.
I've got a few of the Nightfall
Never say
games.
the full names, yeah.
Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay.
There we go.
I've heard a lot of good things about. I was talking to a guy last night as well, and he was gushing about it. Blades in the Dark.
I've heard a
lot of good things about it.
Blades in the Dark.
It's on my list, but I have a very long list of games to run, so it's like lore.
Oh, David has a question.
The blue guy has a question. Papa Smurf.
Oh no, I don't. No, I don't. Sorry, I was just stretching.
I do feel like you should talk for a bit because you haven't spoke yet.
Leon has a question.
Leon does.
I wanted to ask Richard. I agree with not streaming D&D more anymore, and as a principal thing, you have spent so much time on Valorium and your worlds, would you be willing to, or would you want to change mechanics to Pathfinder for
Well,
Valorium?
that is a
Or-
vote for yous.
Yeah.
That is a vote for yous.
I mean,
like you
Push the
say.
season, man.
I think you have invested a lot of time and energy into this world.
Sure.
Switching to a system that's just D&D wearing the fake glasses with the nose and the mustache
Yeah.
is
Yeah, for sure.
you
Like
know,
to say.
The only difference I would say, yeah, go ahead, mate. Sorry.
But the question is, does Richard want to do that? Because he seemed very excited with the idea of running different
Of
systems
not.
every so often.
well, this is another thing we've been discussing, like
Yeah.
running games rather than going full in on just these massive multi-year long epics like Critical Role do.
Yeah.
Right, and let's
we could do
face it,
seasons.
we're not Critical Role. We will never have the viewership of Critical Role,
Nope.
and nobody's
We'll not even
going to
have a
come and watch
fraction of
us when
No,
they
with
can
that
watch
attitude, you
for
won't.
Critical Role.
No, with that
One that's
Um,
cool as them, let's face it.
well,
I think
Rachel,
what's
you are the only cool one here. Let's be fair.
Yeah.
No.
But we
I
do
think
have fun.
Sure.
I
Yes.
think what works best, and I see it in a lot of channels, is they do like we've discussed, they run a game for a month, or they'll run an arc of a game and then change to a different system.
Yeah, we've started this before. It's a lot to ask anybody to stick with us who are not professional. Actually, I could just put a full stop there. And then, so by the way, there's 37 episodes of varying quality, because there's some episodes where we've all been like work for 3 days. There's when somebody goes on holiday and inexplicably disappears for 3 weeks.
I'll
So
also
then-
point out.
One at a time.
That's something to highlight. Like, this could be a really good thing for the streams, because when we were starting out with Florium and these games on D&D, we started out quite early on, and I think it was one of the first things that we did on Twitch, and I think this could be a good new start for us. We're doing like a prolonged game with a new system,
because exactly as you said, Dillian, that's one of the reasons why we were talking. Like, for instance, we shouldn't be doing D&D just for moral stances as well. On top of that, especially for the fact of the viewerships into the channel bringing up, that is what I brought up.
Scott is trying to talk, by the way.
Yeah, if you want to continue the campaign, by all means, I will do that. Again, we can highlight other systems and all that. Yep, I will certainly do my research and look into other systems that are similar to for that kind of fantasy, for the high fantasy system, and continue Florium. I can always try and it's really just the rules I need to convert and just make sure I've got creatures and all that and everything else. That is not an issue. However, going forward as well, saying that as well, it's probably a good idea to go into seasons, because I think the DMs, is in particular, the four of us here, we're talking about that, going, this is probably the way we should go forward. So it is an idea. Again, it's just to put to you, the players, because you are the players and the most important of the thing, because there is no game without players. It's up to you as how you want to go forward in there.
Scott, did you get a chance to talk there? Sorry, you're going to.
No, it's Richard was answering Leon's question. It's just to reiterate what Richard was saying. See our first episode of any new game we play, they're the ones that get the mega hits. They're the ones that get up to, like, I know it's not a mega compared to like YouTube standards,
For us,
but it's like,
mega for us.
It's like 80, 90, 100 for our new systems, and then it's like slowly, the longer a game goes on, you start seeing less and less and less and less and less.
I've seen quite. Sorry, what I've seen quite. It was like 100, episode 2, 50, episode 3, 6.
Yeah.
Right.
And then it's just one, me or Mary.
We go on YouTube and put repeat and just watch it 56 times.
Yeah.
I shall do
The
that.
only thing that I'm going to be really annoyed at is I'm going to have to think of more character names.
Just Rachel, what you
Sam.
do is you just play the same character in every game.
I hate
She does that
character
anyway.
Slightly different voice.
Just,
She does the gym.
I'm just going to throw this one out here as well. I was just clicking on Roll20 there, and on the front page, Pathfinder beginner box. Wonder what they're pushing.
Again, we're
and
going to
it's
see
on
it.
sale,
We're going
guys.
to
It's down to 30 quid.
Because
we're
Roll20
gonna-
is getting screwed.
Yeah, we're going to. We're going to see a lot more of that. That's the thing. Yeah, it doesn't matter what virtual tabletop you go into, they're going to see a lot more of that just simply because they're pushing back against this OG.
It's not just that, you know, like Wizards' entire plan with 6th edition is to have their own virtual tabletop. They're wanting to make that walled garden ecosystem where you only interact with things Wizards want you to interact with.
Right, guys, everybody shut the fuck up. The Expanse has got a role-playing game.
Oh!
You're just finding this out.
Scream over, fuck yous all, apart from the ones that I like, and we're... Sorry, I just found this out. Sorry,
if
Sarah.
it makes you feel any... Oh, sorry, Sarah.
I was just wondering, so, like, based on what you've just been talking about it all being online and different and everything, will you be carrying on online, or are you looking to go back at, like, in-person gaming?
You
Like,
better
baby, I love
fucking that,
streaming.
otherwise you ain't seeing this face again.
Yeah, it's. I think. Sorry, I'm going to be speaking for a few people here. If I'm getting your viewpoints wrong, I apologise. I think for some of you, I understand. Like Richard, you've got the kids. Lee, you've got the kids, and also you work all the time. Scott works 25 hours a day.
Scott gets up 2 hours before he gets to sleep to go to work.
Yeah, he's currently working. This is pre-recorded. Scott's pre-recorded.
This was recorded 4 months ago.
On my brain, every one of my moves, every turn I do.
His top just changes colour every time he speaks.
So it's like for those of us who, before COVID and the pandemics and all that, we'd play in person. That no longer kind of works because, you know, life is a thing. Yeah,
I've never played in person, like never ever.
But
we've
also
I'll have to get in person at one point.
I would love to have an in-person game with you guys every week. It's never going to happen though because we're all incredibly fucking busy. And some of us live fucking hundreds of miles away. So yeah.
This was the continuation. I was got the additional point I was going to add. Like during the pandemic, the lockdowns and all that, when we were gaming online, we picked up a Sally, we picked up a Rachel, and it's like, you know, are we going to expect the two of them? Yeah, we're better for it. Yeah. However, there's also people like myself where being indoors all the time is not great for my mental health. I want to get out and
I'll also
get games in person.
I've also got 2 friends that don't want to do it online if they were to play. So it's I'm
not gonna lie, I'm not a huge fan of playing online.
I play anyway, but
it's optimal.
I still reckon we should stream it if we did it in person.
Yeah.
No, if it was in person, I'd still do it streaming. Yeah, absolutely. We'd all bring cameras with us, just right our faces.
GoPros.
I'll be honest, I like both, and there's different reasons.
Wearing them on our heads.
I like online because I can get Rach and Sally in the games, and secondly, it is far easier for me, who is like up very early for work, to just go log off and go to bed. There was a point where Real Sly knows with this in-person games where I would get Real Sly, go and pick up.
I love
James.
how you guys are never sure whether to call me by my handle or my actual name.
All the time. I was just calling you Gordon.
So funny. It's like every other stream you change about which name you use, and I'm like, okay.
I like to confuse you and maybe think you're like three different guys that won't put the camera on. Like,
I'm actually 4 goblins in a trench coat.
No one's disputing that.
The goblins, Real, Sly, Malbro, and Gordon.
Here's Gordon at the top.
Anyway, Scott was making like a well thought out point, and we stopped and make a bad joke.
My point was that there was a point where I was getting Gordon, then going to drive an hour to get James, then driving about half an hour to go to Richards to play the game there. Then I'd have to drop James back off, and then I'd have to come back, and I was getting at Habe at midnight and getting like 4 hours sleep.
We talked about this before. Like, even those of us that could go and meet up, there's only about 3 of us, or maybe 4 of us that drive. Right, so like it's just not possible. Go ahead, mate.
There's something to that. I drive. Yeah.
You drive?
I
Hold on,
drive.
do you drive? Do you have a
Yeah,
car?
I drive. I have
Are
a
you old
car.
enough to drive?
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I was going to say.
You're old.
There's nothing Leon can't do.
But I will,
To be
s-
fair,
but I will
he
say
is
that
so handsome. I'd let him do anything he wanted. Like, yeah, baby.
Yeah.
I feel it's worth it. I feel like meeting up in person and like
Oh.
sometime and like playing would be worth it. You know.
I
don't know.
think it's worth it when I'm there, but that's what I'm meaning. Like, there's a convenience to being online that you just don't get. Like if
You
we
get
were
the
all meeting in
convenience
Mother,
of Rachel and Sally.
yeah,
for a start.
that's also
Yeah.
one of the big
Yeah,
things. I
massively.
really like having them in our games. I would happily meet up and have a physical game, like a few games and that every so often, just in person, just for the fun of it. Especially like Cthulhu works well with it. Vampire works well with it. It's like, as in, it's just one of the things. It's like online is a way we can get all of us together very quickly, fairly easily, and there's no traffic. There's no, oh, can he make it the day because Scott's ill, so that means that none of them can make it because he's picking them up and stuff. You get what I mean? And it all adds up. But I do have to admit that when you get everybody around a physical table playing it together with snacks and drinks and stuff like that, and just having the laugh, it is brilliant.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
no.
well,
And I want you
I'll
to come
say.
up and get an in-game person game, so you can experience it in person.
I'll be up in the summer.
An
I've only
in-game
got 5
person game.
seats.
Sally, we're going to come down there and kidnap you and your entire family.
Yes. I'll pack a bag ready.
we all need to go to. There's a Comic-Con in Newcastle. We all go to that Comic-Con, and then we can all meet there, and then we can do
That'd be
it
so
in a
cool.
Comic-Con in full cosplay. None of them matching cosplays. And
We
then
should
just
all
I'll
do
come
each
in as
other.
well.
Like I should dress as Lee. Lee dresses as Rachel. Richard dresses as David. David dresses as Leah.
I'll dress as Scott, and what I'll do is I'll shave my head, right,
No.
and just
Yeah.
glue my head
Glue
hair
it.
onto my face.
I'll dress as Mary.
I will dye my hair with reds and get a tank top.
To be fair, all you
this
need
isn't
is
a tank
gents.
top. This is a vest. Right?
Just dress up as Lee.
I mean,
I love
yeah.
the indignance of this isn't a tank top, it's a vest.
I'm not entirely sure what the difference is, to be honest, but I have 3 different
Vest is what
styles
you
of
grew up
vest.
with. Tank
Well,
top is what
I'm
Americans
gonna-
made
It's
you
just
name
got
it.
like a shoulder
I'm gonna
things,
quickly
doesn't it?
I'm gonna quickly dress like Gordon. There.
Nice.
Hey!
Good dress like Gordon.
Very well done. Very well
Yeah.
done.
So going back to this, as you're saying, it's just for things going forward. Like I say, I will happily continue. I can happily continue World Felorium on a different system. I just need to do some
Just
research
finish
on
the goddamn
system.
season, man. Like, I honestly couldn't give a
Yeah, we
fuck
can finish
overall
the
about the
season.
D&D
We
thing. I
can-
mean, if you want me to go up and like spray paint dicks on like the front of the Wizards of the Coast
Yeah.
building, if that helps, right?
We can finish the season there, blah blah blah, and go forward, and then we can.
Because we have
probably
like
come back
4
in.
possible ends to that season. Like, because we've got like people have got different motivations. Like, we just pick one and go and do that. The end of the season could literally be we find the colony of what they called change, kick fuck out them, and then say
fair.
and onwards, and then that's it. You know, so
Fair.
turns
we
out
could
the
stop- Yeah, we could stop the season now, like I say, and then come back to it because we're waiting to see what happens to you.
We are a very
Yeah,
good
it is a
season
good
ender.
cliffhanger moment.
Yeah.
However,
we have to come back. I want to know what happens.
That's why it's
That's
a good
why it's called a
cliffhanger.
cliffhanger, Lee.
Yeah, only if you come back, and I don't believe you're going to come back. So
no, we'll come back. Let's just say I'll
Bullshit.
need
I
to
Like I
don't
said,
believe
he's
you.
I'll
going to
need
do
to do my
Pathfinder.
research. I'll do my research and see what it is. It might not be Pathfinder.
I'm just saying.
It's research.
Yeah.
You're going to do it and you're going to come back and do Dragonbane, because the only system I do now is Free League. Free League all the way, baby.
Mhm.
Apart from I did
I'm-
see
I'm-
Kids on Bike, and I quite like the sound of us. Because
I've said that before.
Well, our whole systems now are going to be us playing old ladies or us playing like 14-year-old kids. That's the only systems we're doing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Sorry, Sally's looking confused. Do you know what we're talking about? The old lady one or the kids one?
Brindlewood
Right.
Bays, you're playing an old lady. Solving
We're all
crimes.
basically, what's her name?
We're
Jessica
all
Fletcher.
really excited about that one. We're actually
mean,
really excited.
This is the thing, though. This
It's
is the kind
almost
of
ready.
thing. This is the thing. Talking going forward.
Is
I mean,
it?
this is the kind of thing we can do. I'd rather this because it's highlighting stupid. Well, say stupid games. It highlights games like
Different
that where it's
teams,
got
mate,
great,
different
yeah, where
teams.
it's got different premises and all this. It's amazing. I think we should be doing that.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah,
long list of
weird and
ones.
wonderful.
Instead of going for D&D for a start, because again, I personally I don't think they deserve it now, for sure.
Look,
They're
man,
big
I'm not
enough.
gonna. I mean,
Yeah.
see, ultimately, they chased the money, right? They fucked up, right? But see if they issued an apology saying, "Look, we fucked this right up. This was stupid. It was a money-making thing. We should have done it. We apologise." Then, do we go back to playing D&D? Is that enough, or what do they have to do to make you play them again? Because if you tell me there's nothing they can do, I don't believe you. Because that's
Right.
horseshit.
Here's the
I think
thing.
they can go for way worse.
So here's the thing. I don't think D&D will ever be the same again, simply because they're
Fucking dramatic bitch.
They are not they're not a gaming company anymore.
Sally's dying right now.
They're not a game, but they're not a gaming.
The dramatic
Yeah,
bitch.
no,
They're not a. Yeah, you reggae.
They're all about the
They're not a
brand.
gaming company or they're a media company.
Also, here's a one for you. Who
Why would they
this
need to make
group-
games when they've got films? They've got a film coming out soon, right?
Scott, you don't get to see
Yeah,
your
I think
point.
that's ridiculous. I do. I think the film, like, no.
But the
That's
film's going to be
that's-
dog shit, let's be honest. Right.
Doesn't matter. It's going to make them money.
Good for
Yeah.
them.
this is
And
the
it
thing. I mean,
introduces more people at TTRPGs. What does it matter?
You
For
telling
how
me
long?
that
Because
if
they
you had
get
the
caught in the-
opportunity to make that kind of money, you wouldn't snap it up?
of course
No
I
matter
would,
the moral
and then I would
compass.
give
Yeah.
it to charity.
Lee the Vest story, right? The story of why I do this. Then I'll be like, yeah, fucking sell out those rights and
yeah,
I'll do
of
that.
course I would.
Mhm.
Of course I'd do that. But what
Delicious
what
dick
would
story.
stop me from? But then what would sorry. Then what would be the reason for me to continue forward doing what I was doing originally if I was making money off of that?
Oh mate, like that's it. Like there's a lot of assumptions.
There's
There.
no,
It's got to do well.
there is no point. There is no point. They're not gonna. They are putting as very little effort into games as is.
I
That's
know
what the whole
spaceship
OGL was.
one.
No, that was what the whole OGL thing was for.
Yeah.
How many books have Wizards of the Coast actually released D&D wise of their own volition? 3 of them were rehashes.
They released that one that was like to do with Critical Role a little bit ago.
But that was Critical Role that did the work.
Oh,
That was you. That was the
Critical
point
Role
of the
would
OGL.
well, they wouldn't, because they've probably
Yeah.
got to deal with them. But
That
they
was
would
the point of the
technically lose
OGL.
money for that because they'd have to
Yeah.
start paying.
Yeah. It's well established that the OGL was set up because Wizards were like, yeah, it's too expensive for us to write adventures and publish them in, because at the time it was first established, you only got games in print. And they're like,
Sally.
yeah, getting a book printed costs too much. If we come up with the OGL, that'll sell copies of the Player's Handbook.
Yeah, Sally.
Why do you talk about wizards as if they're like people?
Well, they are.
because wizards are all people, Sally.
Legally speaking, they
No,
are.
but I
Operation.
feel
mean,
like I'm missing something, and
if-
you're saying wizards as if these people matter, but I don't know why they matter.
Wizards of the
Okay,
Coast is the
but
actual
from now on,
company.
Sally, I will refer to them as the Seattle Company.
Okay, so they do matter. They're like actual official people called wizards.
Wizards of the Coast is
Have
the
you
name of the
never seen
company.
the
It's
little
like saying like
short way.
Microsoft.
Aye.
and stuff like on D&D merch?
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
saying
Don't look at
Sony
the
or
internet.
like
Yeah.
Asda. That's just the name of
Yeah.
it. Wizards of the Coast is the name of the
Yeah,
company.
the company that makes the games D&D, Wizards of the Coast. It's most
Right.
often abbreviated down to either Wizards or WotC.
Okay.
But Wizards is more fun to say.
Well, yeah.
Okay, I get it now. I was
like
just
to think
wondering.
Wizards are screwing us over.
Wizards.
Just Sally thinking there's some magical conspiracy out there.
How cool would that be?
She may be right.
Hogwarts exists? What?
But yeah, with the thing with the OGL, they were saying is that the only reason the D&D was as fresh as it was because they were getting third parties to write their stuff and then and if they wanted, they could have published it through Wizards of the Coast, or they could have done it through GM Guild, stuff like that. However, I'm going off my point there though. However, when you look at actually the books that Wizards of the Coast actually released and produced and done themselves, there wasn't that many in 5e. Maybe talking about 4 to 6 books of adventures, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you
Or
got
three
like
of them were.
Scott's trying to
Three of
talk,
them were
guys. So someone
rehashes.
else is going to go
Yeah.
with it. Should be Scott.
No,
Scott?
they were still midpoint, and then they want to interrupt them, so I was just keep on them.
No.
But what I was going to say is, in all honesty, guys, though, is D&D, your favourite games, or do you just like it because you're playing with us? Because like I've heard from many you prefer other systems.
I make no bones with this. I talk about it all the time.
That's a good
Oh,
point
I
as
like
well.
D&D, yeah, but I also do
I like the
enjoy other
5e.
systems. So I like that.
It's
I
my
will
favorite.
tell
Can I answer
you-
that actually?
I didn't know that they were all different systems. I thought D&D was just D&D.
And that's what Wizards bank on.
Yeah.
Yep. David,
Bless your heart, Ali.
what were you saying, mate?
Yeah, I was actually just going to say that in response to Scott's question, that the only reason that I will state D&D is currently my favorite is simply for the fact that I have not played other systems before.
I know,
Like,
I've
this
tried to get you
table
to
was
do
my
it.
first.
That's
Valid,
same
but
with me,
because
that's
of the,
entirely
like,
understandable,
it just
David.
didn't work out, unfortunately, in regards to that. But my only introduction to this world is this game. So, like you
Yeah.
were saying as well, Sally, it's only been recently with all this going on that I realized there is that difference with these systems, and it's only because this has been going on I've even realized that. And
Yeah.
if it wasn't for that, I probably wouldn't have ever thought about it.
I'm glad I'm not
I-
alone.
do you know- do you
Thank
want
you,
to-
David.
Do you want to
You're
know
never alone
something,
with
David?
us, Ali.
When you first came in, started streaming, I started watching. I was like, I can't believe this is the first time David's played a TTRPG. Like, you
Yeah.
are phenomenal.
I didn't know what they were
Improvising
for a
stuff
long time.
is in improvising stuff. I can do that non-stop.
You're-
Like, the
you're
roleplay
a
was just
theatre
like
kid.
years of musical theatre,
Yeah.
but like
Yeah.
you could tell the theatre kid. Honestly,
You're
For
a
sure.
theatre
You'd
kid,
never
but you
die.
also read
They'll
the
always
rules.
tell you they're the theatre kid.
This is the
Mm.
only time in the world where being a theatre kid is a flex.
Yeah.
Exactly.
yeah.
It had to.
You've also read the rules because you pulled out some smart tactics with your spells.
Oh yeah, you know your rules
Oh, yeah.
very well for the likes of your character. I mean,
Most people haven't even read it
yeah,
when they
okay.
first play.
What, Logan?
Hey, my boy's not here to defend himself with direct
No, other
accusations.
Yeah, Logan doesn't read.
Both Logans are my boy. That's,
Logan's doing good, I reckon.
yeah, he's
Yeah,
working hard.
Yeah, of course. Logan doesn't read though and refuses to. So
That's part of his charm.
Can Logan read?
what
That's
the-
Yes,
nerd
he's a
shit.
That's a little bit
well-educated man.
harsh.
How dare you?
I don't trust
He is
books.
I mean, he's also too
Try
cool
and
for
teach
lead.
me something or a
I can
agenda.
answer that because I don't read the rules. I just don't have time to sit there and read them.
That's the
Alan,
difference.
that's
Ali,
okay.
that is absolutely fair.
Yeah, you don't have time, and we understand that. That's why I like to give an abbreviation of the rules
Yep.
for you. There's like an A4 sheet, paper
Thank
sheet. You
you.
can read an A4 sheet.
What I will say is, at the end of the day, when it comes to rules, in my opinion, there's only one person at the table that needs to know the rules.
Yeah.
DM.
Everyone.
The person running the game.
Yeah, for
Sally.
sure.
They
Sally
need to,
knows the rules,
they're the only
just
person
shut
that
up.
needs to know the rules. Other people knowing the rules is a help. But as long as the DM can be like, these are the rules. I know the rules. Yeah, GMs can be like, I know the rules. This is the dice mechanic.
Sometimes it can be too many cooks spoil the broth when there's too many people that know
Well,
the rules.
again, that is
Can be
there's
a
a
problem,
there's a
can
fine
be.
balance. You're right enough.
It's-
Well, that's when
Um,
I think the DM should have final.
Well,
Like,
the
they
DM does.
do have final say. It's like, shut
Oh,
the
yeah.
fuck up, listen to the DM.
The DM should never be going to somebody at the table unless it's like a very specific thing. Like, oh, how does fireball work? Is it like 30 feet or 40 feet or whatever?
See, that's why I've
Well-
not done vampire yet.
You know, Sally, you,
It's fine, Sally. You will be
Sally,
great as
also,
vampire. I
you
believe
don't
in you.
listen to anybody else.
The
Sally.
word
Just do what you
rules is
want.
used liberally. They are
Yeah.
guidelines as and when. There's been
If someone
Mostly
tells you you're
guidelines.
doing the wrong rule, tell them to fuck off.
There's
Maybe-
two things have happened in like Mutant. I've been like, fuck it, that happens. I'm not even making you roll because that was fucking awesome.
yeah, exactly. Really cool, man.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
to
Yes, I did that the other day.
Leon's trying to talk.
maybe to find a new system for us to work with, we should discuss system-wise what we love about D&D and what we hate about it. Like, look, Lee, I know you don't like. You know your favorite thing is obviously the fighting.
Combat,
You know,
yep.
that's a
We
shame.
love
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
he's,
Lee-
he's
Lee
combat
loves
monster for
combat.
sure. Yeah, he's
I
built in
have
combat.
nothing against combat. What I have a problem with is that combat takes forever, and it's a lot of people going, Just fucking do something, right?
Yeah.
You should have a plan. See if I'm at the top and you're at the bottom. You should wait until it's your turn to go, oh fuck,
I'm getting
put my phone
flashbacks.
down, put my bucket of chicken down, Right, go for the quick shower.
So Lee, what you're telling us is what you're telling us is that most of the people that play in your games are fuck off racelands.
I don't know what that means, but I was
Just sitting, swiping through their phone. And it's, it's your turn. Yeah, fuck it, I'll throw fireball.
Getting better at it. I'm
You're
getting
a
better.
monk.
Yes.
Personally attacked right
Yeah.
now. Personally
Yes.
attacked.
like combat can be fun, but I'd much rather hear you guys bullshit in character for an hour. Because as I've said, there's plenty of times I'm sitting like that and then realise I'm meant to have done something like shit. What's
It's a
yeah?
preference again.
Then the dragon attacks because I've not been paying attention. You're playing mutely. Shit. The trash rock attacks.
It is a preference of
What?
games. Some people want like loads of combat, and that other ones are like,
Aye. Let's not fall down that because we've had that conversation 50 times. Right, Leon, you started it. What would you like to see you play?
I think I'd like to see a challenge. You know, like I really like to Call of Cthulhu because it was actually like hard for me like to not learn, but there was no hand holding through it, and I felt like you become a lot more invested a lot sooner that way.
I think
Are
which was a
you-
question.
Are you not playing in Scott's games?
he's
Scott
not
has
playing
games.
this most recent one. We're playing Pulp Cthulhu now, which is a low
Oh,
more
okay,
hand
okay,
holding.
okay. 'Cause-
So,
yeah.
if I can clarify, Liam, what you're saying is you're looking for a game that provides more of a challenge.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Sally, you hand.
Could we do a like one shot, an actual one shot though, not like a
No.
one shot that turns into a 5-shot
Never happens.
of each system, of each system, and see which one we prefer, like one a week sort of thing.
The
Yeah, I know what you
downside of
mean.
that is we could try, but the downside of the one shot that's just a one shot is that they're
You
over
don't get
so
used
quickly.
to the system enough to play it, I think.
Nobody learns it, and you don't get invested in the characters. And then see what happens is you end up fucking around for the first hour and a half, and then like time's almost up, and like you're
Yeah.
literally in the starting area, so it becomes an issue. It would always be when I'm doing it for you guys in future. It's going to be probably 4 sessions, and then it should be done. 4 will be your max,
One,
but well, not really. But I'll try and make it your max.
one shots for me are normally 2. I managed to get a one shot done the other day. But
I'm pretty sure you hacked out a bunch of content halfway through that because
Yeah.
we just wouldn't
To be
stop
fair.
because you
fucking
did
around.
bad decisions, and I was like, okay, Deus Ex Machina staff.
Like,
Yeah, if
all,
there's- if
all
there's one
I'm
thing-
going to say on the topic of one shots is the only one shot I think we've ever done that was in one session was during the Halloween when I did One Ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
let's
honest.
do
I'll be honest with you.
I
If
like
there's one
that.
thing
I
Dick
liked
Naylor
One Ring, that
knows
was fun.
is how to finish up quickly. And
One hit
Quickly
wonder.
and, quickly and disappointing.
Terminator managed to be
no one
2
was
sessions,
disappointed.
so
Nobody
Reason-
was disappointed.
There's
Okay.
a reason they're called one shots, but they end up being 2 sessions. We don't play the amount of hours that a normal one shot would be done in.
yeah.
That is correct. A lot
Yeah.
of one
People
shots
play
are meant to be
for
about
4
8 hours.
Oh fuck.
Mm.
Okay.
What?
4 hours.
Okay.
We don't play 4 hours.
Can
Yeah,
I?
generally a session length is
We played
4 to
for
5
we played
hours.
for like 2.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask somebody to send me a list of the like
Available games.
Well,
not available games because that's
You-
a fucking shed load. But
yeah, I'm pretty sure, Sally, if you told me or Richard,
yeah.
maybe
Or me.
Scott, what kind of games you like this is the kind of shit I'm into.
We know
You'd
you
be
like
right,
vampires for sure.
Here's
Yeah.
50 games.
Yeah.
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 What are you looking for out of the game? Firstly, what is the ideal?
Well,
game
that's
for you?
sorry to interrupt. That's kind of what we were going through when we started with Leon. So who should
yeah.
we go to next?
Yeah.
I think Leon, did you have something to add to that? I did see your hand go up.
I would like to go to space, and yeah.
Okay, well,
You wanna
this
go
is about
space?
TTRPGs, mate.
I can't
Very
do
much.
games. And you want to do
I'll
a
go with
space
space
DTR.
with you.
Leon, if you get me a cannon and enough gunpowder, I can help you.
If you join Twitter and
I'll go
actually
space.
suck up to Elon Musk, you'll be the only friend he has, and he might take you up the next time it goes.
No, there are plenty of space games.
I literally just mentioned the Expanse thing, which I am definitely buying.
But we know
So-
a space game's
There
We're
is-
going
happening
to
soon.
space.
We know there's a
Who's
space
doing
game.
space game?
Mary is doing.
Oh yeah, she did
Star
Star
Trek.
Trek. Oh yeah.
Star
Like,
Trek.
that one I
okay.
did with the cowboys also had a space setting,
Yeah.
and there's Traveller, but
Yeah,
Do you
I
want
love
like
Traveller.
shitty?
I love Traveller, but I hate running Traveller.
Sure.
I just find there's so much work in the background when you're working. Yeah, you're like off
What's it called?
prep work, GM work. I
Leon,
think.
Oh,
to answer your question, mate, do you want shitty, horrible space where everything is terrible, or do you want Star Trek?
Um,
Something's really
I
good
can
in
always-
Star Trek. It works.
yeah, like I kind of like Star Trek, but like I'd want it to be I'd want it to be
what's the space fantasy?
because yeah, either Star
Space-
Trek
yeah.
or
I'd
Cowboy
always
Bebop.
ask Mary.
Like one of those two,
Cowboy
you know?
Bebop would be a good shout. I think there is a Cowboy Bebop TTS.
There is.
One exists.
I downloaded the quick start rules because it's currently in a Kickstarter campaign.
Yeah.
Which has
Send me that,
funded.
man.
I'm gonna. Yeah, the only problem I had reading through the Cowboy Bebop rules, I was like, this is going to be practically impossible to run online.
So from there,
It kind of
so-
stops that one happening. But
yeah. So we know what Leon would rather go on to. David, have you got any kind of fantasy set? You got any settings that you fancy playing or having a go at?
I mean, in particular, not really. I know it just kind of connects back to my earlier comment, but I enjoy the roleplay side of it and actually interacting with the individuals around me. So, like, anything that just has that, I'm happy to try any setting. And if I don't like it, I'll say that at the time, but I'm always willing to experiment.
And
So-
your TTRPG fair? Oh, I'm joking.
So,
Sally,
if-
for God's sake.
so if I'm getting the gist of what you're saying, David, you're looking for something that's a bit more roleplay heavy than dungeon robbing.
I think you'd have done good in Mute, to be honest, man. Steal the free link
Oh,
stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, mutant
Well,
would be
honestly,
great.
someone says
With
they want
Mutant,
RP.
if it wasn't just for the fact that it was on a Monday and I work until 11 on a Monday, that was literally the only reason I haven't gotten involved. That is my only impact on my interaction with this.
If you want
Is just
to,
my schedule.
if you
Yeah.
want
What
to,
days is it you don't work?
Mutant.
So just one
so-
second. What day could you do?
So we could probably do this
Mon-
off stream, like I say, discussion for
Yeah.
the days and that, just for purposes of other
Yeah.
going forward. There should be another off stream thing, but it's interesting to know that you're willing to put yourself out there for anything, David. That's not a problem. I mean,
Can we please
It-
keep this on TTRPG?
yes.
I joke, Richard. You're the
Yes.
only man for me.
So Scott,
well, just where I'm saying that it's RP heavy, my recommendations for RP heavy would be Vampire. This Brindlewood Bay is probably going to be RP heavy that I'm going to be doing, and Cthulhu are the ones that I would say is the RP heaviest that we've done.
yeah, but
Free
yeah,
league stuff as well
Yeah,
is very
there's,
RP because it's very simple rules, very simple system. For that
Every
reason.
free league book says the same thing. It's like
your Blade
don't
Runner
look
would
at
be
the
good as
dice.
well.
Yeah.
Oh, we're doing that
Blade Runner
tomorrow?
Starting tomorrow, guys.
Yeah.
Blade
Yeah,
Runner.
and tomorrow.
I'm so excited about that.
So,
yeah, it's just
I
it's
can't
when you
fucking wait.
it's when you mentioned vampire there, Scott. There's two types of vampire game. There's the roleplay heavy vampire game, and there's the superheroes with fangs game.
Sure.
No in betweens.
I love
Um,
vampires.
So Richard,
I love still.
Ooh,
bringing the question to you now.
Mhm.
I'm happy.
Sorry, I'm
with,
telling my calf.
I am very much in David's camp. I'm open to anything as long as I get the chance to kind of stretch my RP legs. I don't mind running anything. I have a particular favourite though. I would love. I've never had the chance to play, but has always interested me is L5R,
L5.
Legend of the Five Rings.
Yeah.
The setting,
That is a
very
game I
RP
also
heavy.
love.
Yeah,
Yeah.
very RP heavy. Very little combat considering the setting. It's half
Yes.
right now thinking about it.
It's such a good game.
Yeah.
We'll put it on the list of things that someone might run. Gordon.
Yeah, I think I'm not running it.
Yes,
What
you
a
are.
great
You
game.
love
yeah.
that game.
Like, I think I'm in the same camp as Richard, where it's like you really want to play a game, and you're like, but the only way I'll get to play this game is if I run it.
I run it. Yeah, for sure. I don't mind running it. If I manage to get rules to it, I'll read over them again because I know they've changed the rules recently as well. With their
Well, no, there were. I don't know if they're going to go ahead with it now because of the whole GL situation.
I know they did it. They were doing a D20, weren't they? Based
Yeah,
off the
they were.
3D
They
system.
were doing a.
Yeah.
Yep, they were doing a D21, but the last edition was literally. It was literally just L5R 5th edition,
Right.
and that was Fantasy Flight that published that, and it had Funky
Yes.
Dice. Before then, like it was just like it was D20s or D10s they used. The Fantasy Flight system is really nice. I like it.
Oh, for sure. Rachel, have you got any preference to kind of settings or games you want to play?
I really want to play The Witcher, but I know James keeps mentioning that, and it never gets anything. It never gets anywhere. Or Lord of the Rings. I love Lord of the Rings.
I think
very
we
easy
played
system.
One Ring with us, didn't
We
you?
did, yeah. Rachel
Yeah,
was
I
in it.
absolutely love.
I actually quite like the system of the One Ring. That was actually really good system as well.
Yeah, we only played it once for a little bit, but I really enjoyed it.
Great, wasn't
I really should be taking notes.
it?
Of what's more generally what systems people are wanting to see.
Well,
I've been writing some stuff down.
Yeah,
Good man.
I'll take this question as well. Then, Gordon, what would you fancy?
Anything but dungeon crawling boomer games.
Fair enough. So
I'm open to most things really. Just I know I'm rarely playing, but you know.
DM prerogative, I get you. Aye, I'll play anything. What about yourself, Lee?
Love Wasteland games. Any post-apocalyptic bullshit, fucking love it. I like dark, shitty space games, so I'm really that Expanse is getting bought. Can't wait.
Oh, mate, if you like that, I think you can still get it for free because they released the rules for free. The Eclipse phase.
Right.
Eclipse phase.
Message me the thing, and I'll look at that. The fancy style, I've talked about doing Dragon Maid, all your D6 systems, because I know the D6 system, that's going to be a bit easier. And kind of like weird sci-fi bullshit, so Tales from the Loop. I'm going to look at that. I watched the TV show, it was boring as hell, but I'm assuming the game will be less boring. But yeah, that stuff is my jam.
You didn't like The Expanse?
No, not The Expanse, no. Tales from the Loop, the Amazon Prime done a TV series. I watched the first episode, and it was dull as shit. But I think it's like an anthology, so it's different things every week. But it was one of those things that came. I was like, "Oh, it's mind-bending," and I watched it. I was like, "Yeah, this is what's going to happen," and then that happened. They obviously just watched The Outer Limits back in the 90s, and then made the TV show. But because I'm old now, people haven't seen that stuff, so you know. But yeah, that's my jam. But I'm gonna miss doing fantasy stuff. But I also don't want to run the fantasy stuff. I like the sci-fi more.
To be fair, fantasy we can still do fantasy. Like to say, I'll do my research into other systems for high fantasy, and we can go from there. So,
Evil Genius Productions, Everyday Heroes, I think it's called. It's coming soon. I have no idea. It was 5e though, so I don't know what's going to happen to that now. But I did like the idea of a superhero kind of game because I like that. Let people do some crazy bullshit.
I have a game called Random Anime, which is you make up an anime character and you just go nuts. It's pretty much like Excel Saga, except it's nothing like Excel Saga.
So, yeah, Besm's a bit like that as well.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
You know what was really good? Toon was very good as well. Peter Jackson game Toon. Toon is a fantastic
Toon done an RPG as well, didn't they?
Toon.
Was that
I'm talking about Toon.
I know you were saying, but there
is the Dune RPG.
That reviewed really well, didn't it?
I think it done decently. It's one of the Modiphius TTRPGs, and it uses the 2D20 system.
Is that the same? Like, what does the Fallout game use?
2D20.
Because I remember reading that and thinking that game is bullshit.
Yeah. I wouldn't bother about the Fallout. If I was wanting to play a Fallout setting, I would just want you to run Mutant, but make it be Fallout setting.
Yeah, that'd be what I'd do, because I read the Fallout book, and I'll go on record. I love the games. Fallout 4 was a bit of a damn squid, but that setting was just literally someone played Fallout 4 and translated it to why would you do that?
Yeah.
That's boring.
Oh, there he is, there, Scott. I thought your video system was had paused there while you were talking, so that's
I was
why
just
you were
working
recording.
there.
Yeah,
Coming back.
yeah. Is that you back to work? Aye.
So how about Sally?
Yes, Sally.
Sally, what do you want to play? Is there any systems or is there any kind of settings?
See, I'm sort of the opposite to you guys because I really like set in like medieval times and like fantasy sort of stuff. So
Yeah, I'd play that.
Yeah, I'd like to say it. It's not that we're against the setting high fantasy. That is we should put that across there. High fantasy is good. High fantasy is where I started, but it's a case of it's a system now. It's a system, but we've already talked about that. But anyway, so if you're stuck with high fantasy, by sure, like to say,
Yeah. So I like the Call of Cthulhu games. Did I say that right? Because all I
Yes.
can hear every time I say it is the Scottish accent. I'm like, nobody English ever says it, so I don't know how to say it.
Call of Cthulhu.
well,
Yeah, but you
I
still
don't
have
think-
the accent where you roll your R's. I
I-
can't do
I
that.
ironically don't think Cthulhu is even said that way technically. Apparently, it was said a different way, but everyone
It's
just went Cthulhu because it may sound like you're spitting. So I'm thinking it's
Yeah.
maybe like Cthulhu.
yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoy that game, and obviously I'm a huge vampire fan.
Well,
Really?
funnily
Yeah.
enough, there is a vampire Dark Ages setting which is
Yeah.
set
Cthulhu,
in
you
the
mean?
medieval times. So
Cthulhu Dark
I
Ages.
actually have. Pretty sure I've got a copy of the old White Wolf system. In fact, I've got a copy of most of the White Wolf system games, likes of
Just also the way him
Yeah,
saying that there is
Demon
also
and-
a Cthulhu Dark Ages called Cthulhu Dark Ages.
So let's like to say if that is your bag for like a high fantasy and medieval, yeah, by all means,
Yeah,
we
'cause-
can get to.
That's my sort of genre of films as well. Like I like all that, whereas
Mm.
you guys seem to like the sci-fi and everything. And I'm really sorry to say, but I hate Lord of the Rings. It's just a film based on walking,
Sally,
and I just
Sally,
can't.
if you love high fantasy, like super crazy high fantasy, do I have a game for you?
Exalted, isn't it?
Yes.
I mean, that's a superhero game crossed with a high fantasy game.
Hell yes, yeah, that is a game.
Level 2, you have the power to destroy the
I
world.
I just love the I love the premise of that game. Where it's all D&D, you start off as level 20, and the end game's level 20, and Exalted, you start off as God and get better.
I'd play
Says
the
you-
Harry Potter game.
No.
Yeah, I want to play a Harry Potter game, but not Harry Potter specifically.
It's
Mage.
we're gonna play Harry Trotter, right?
I
And it's
love
I've got to
that
got
change
bit.
Hogwarts.
David this because this is like
I,
new drama thing.
Yeah.
Well, there was also
Yeah,
a White Wolf
2023 has not been a good year for wizards.
There is
No.
there is a
That's
game,
what I found
White
out.
Wolf system called Mage the Ascension, where you practically play wizards. So it's a case of if you wanted
See
to
if
do
it's
the mage
called-
as well.
If it was called Mage the Ascension and you didn't play wizards, I would be like, what the fuck is this game? You play farmers in this game, like, oh, okay, that's
The
weird.
old joke, there was the old joke that White Wolf came out with all these game systems that were saying, right, they would one up each other. So you would go, right, so you had Vampire the Masquerade, great, but werewolves are better. Okay, so let's play Werewolf the Apocalypse. Yeah, but then you get demons. Okay, let's play Demon the Fallen. Okay, but then you've got likes of what was it from there? It
What
was-
trumps demon?
Oh yeah, you Demon. I think you had
Hunters.
Changeling.
There's people want.
Change- yeah,
Oh, Hunters is way
Changeling.
down the line.
I know, but I'm
Yeah.
feeling like Hunters kind of was like, yeah, I'm not going to top you, so I'm just going to put Hunters in.
Yeah.
Changeling. Then you had the Promethean or Prometheus, if I remember correctly. as you just called ghosts and spirits.
Promethean was a new World of Darkness thing.
Yeah, I've actually
Um,
got the old game they did were Promethean, as in the old World Wolf, White Wolf game, and I'm going, this isn't hardback or anything. There is so many games out there. If you want to, especially in the kind of White Wolf setting, you want to play. You want to be a fallen angel? Yeah, Demon is for you. That's exactly what Demon runs. And it's a really good, actually. Thinking about that, I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to back me up, there, Gordon, but Demon's actually a really good game.
I never actually played Demon.
You never played it. The setting of it is a fantastic. It is fantastic in a way. I once played, and I shit you not, I was Macho Man Randy Savage.
Of course you were.
Was that meant to be a
Randy-
surprise of some kind? Was that
Yeah,
meant to be
I
like a
came
shock
back.
that you're under?
I
Oh,
came
yeah,
back
yeah.
as Macho Man Randy Savage, and it says because that's what you do when your character effectively dies, and then fallen angels on demons come into your body, and then that's you just keeping that persona alive. And I was going, I want to be a famous guy. He says, "Fuck it, Macho Man's dead. I'm going to be Macho Man Randy Savage." So I was Macho Man Randy Savage trying to do
Oh,
ungodly
it's
things. It was
you
great.
just reminded me that Scion is also a thing.
Scion, yeah, of course.
That's for sale. That's on sale on Roll20 right now.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think
Silence.
So there's
I
no
think
20.
the PDF of book 1 is still free on drive-through.
Yep.
But like I
I
say, there is those kind of systems with that. Again, Cthulhu delves into a lot of that kind of thing as well. With the high, well, I think they do high fantasy and medieval. They also do your
have-
kind of futuristic tech wars as well. And
Invictus, which is Rome, Through the Ages, which covers most history, Dark Ages, modern day, this original
Oh.
setting, which is 1920.
And
And
I
then
should
you get
also
the
point out-
apocalypse ones where the Cthulhu creatures have won, and it's humans trying to survive in a world where a bunch of Cthulhu
Yeah,
creatures
it's
are in.
more like I'm sitting just now trying to think of high fantasy games
Conan.
because
Aye.
Conan,
and Lee would
I'd
hate
put
it because it's a 2D20 system.
but it's Cthulhu as well. It's Cthulhu. It's fantasy.
I would love
Cthulhu.
Conan. I will get all the books of Conan and get ready.
Like I was saying, I was trying to come up with other high fantasy settings because that's something Sally specifically highlighted. I'm like,
Yeah.
what other high fantasy games are? And I'm drawing blanks
Well,
because the fucking Seattle company
Yeah, Wizards.
and their
Conan.
and their less evil clone had the market cornered.
Yeah.
well, that ICRPG that I did the Cowboys with has a medieval setting, which is the main setting. That's your fantasy game. Pretty much rip off D&D. I'll be honest. It's like
Yeah.
it's good.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
the
what I'm
only
saying,
difference
like
is humans are the lesser. Like
Oh.
the humans are almost extinct.
I also for Sally specifically, and maybe Gordon as well, because I don't know how interesting the system in this setting is. Victorian ages vampire. I have
nice.
Vampire the
Oh,
Victorian
Yes,
Age.
Victorian age
Yes,
Cthulhu as
I
well.
have Victorian Age Vampire. I've got a original copy there, hardback. Is one of my favourite settings.
I do really enjoy Demon Dogs as well.
Mm.
Because normally
Demon-
I play like the hero character, like, oh yeah, look, I'm so good. And then Demon Dogs, it's like, yeah,
I
fuck
actually
it, let's
brought
be
this-
sadistic.
I brought this up in a Twitter thread saying, okay, so what TTRPG guys fantasy you're moving on to? And it says Demon Dogs. It says it fucking counts. It is fantasy. Demon
Aye.
Dogs is fantasy. It counts. And that I've actually
Mortborg has
religiously
popped
watched.
up a lot.
I've religiously watched your Demon Dog streams, and that is fantastic. I love it. I need to
Yeah,
watch
yeah.
it at some
Break
point.
me.
Yes, it is fantastic.
The guy I mentioned quite a lot, DM Dave, he has been very active on Facebook about his thoughts on the OGL. He is moving on to Mark Borg. He's like, I'm just doing Mark Borg stuff.
Yeah.
Because he's like,
And
everything
I'm
he's
just sitting
done.
there like,
He's like-
subscribe. Thank you for me. Although then again, I've always felt fantasy's very easy to come up with an adventure for. The hardest
Yeah.
bit of Demon
Has-
Dog is giving you an evil adventure. Like,
Easy.
His whole thing is he's a metalhead, so he does a lot of adventures based on just metal songs that he likes. So,
Mortborg even has a list of music to listen to whilst playing Mortborg.
Nice.
Like the creators have done. They're like, yeah, this is what we were listening to when we were writing it.
that makes sense.
Demon Dogs is more punk though. That's not. It's metal,
Mm.
but it's more punk.
And we've got Cyborg as well.
Punk rock. Yeah.
I do have
Yeah.
the cyborg system, but I do have to admit, if I was doing sci-fi stuff, cyberpunk stuff, I probably really want to do Slay.
What was the point of time, yeah. But we've got this is we've got plenty of things that we want to do.
Exactly. It's not as if we're going to be short of content. It's just
Although
Yeah.
it's a new system, cyborg would be a quick one for me to do because the rules are basically the same as Demon Dog, except for
it's the same with It's the same with the Terminators. Basically, the Slay rules. So
What does Rachel want to play?
she was saying, what were you saying? Actually, 'Cause-
Harry Potter, wasn't it? And then we went on the
Oh.
tangent.
Well, I
Well-
doubt we'll play that because I don't think anybody else is really bothered about it. And
I will play it
It's
with
not
you,
the end of
Rachel.
the
It'll
world.
just be me and you.
I used to really love
Hey,
High.
I
content,
loved
baby.
playing Warhammer actually.
Ah, fair.
There
That
are
was so much
multiple
fun.
Warhammer systems out there.
Got
Yeah,
into
So obviously
the
you've got fantasy, you've got the
forget the newest one.
Age
Age of Scubmar. You've got Wrath and Glory, and then you've
Wrath
got
and
all the
Glory's good.
and you've got all the old ones that
Trader.
Fantasy Flight published. Rogue
Dark
Trader,
Yeah.
Rogue Trader,
Oh.
Death Watch, Black Crusade, Catholic Space Nazis.
It's all the same thing.
I actually like this. I think she liked the Warhammer, like the actual like fantasy setting version.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the one played with Scott. I loved that.
yeah,
That was really good.
I was
Is
I'm
that
gonna
the-
say like that was one that Scott introduced to me.
I really like doing that game, but see, for streaming, I'd hate to do a Warhammer one because I do not know the lore anywhere near enough. And people get grumpy with that.
All I'm gonna say is I would hate to stream a Warhammer game because I know what the Warhammer community are like.
Yeah.
Like we would be turning the stream into the Nazi bar.
Yeah. You think
Well,
the
that's
kids?
not
I
own.
think you'll find that this happened in such and such a year. Well, fuck you. It's my game.
Well,
It's like Alex in my one, it was like as in you could be a slayer if you weren't a dwarf if you wanted to be, just because I was like, why restrict that if someone wants to be the Witcher? It's like
I agreed. There is, but you think the D&D community was bad? Jeez.
aye.
Is that the little creatures that you put pictures up of, the little model things?
I very rarely paint Warhammer.
What are they then?
Warhammer is similar, but it's not what he posts.
What do you post?
Warhammer's a brand within the wider
Yeah, because you can get
miniatures community.
like Warhammer 40k and stuff. Have you heard of Space Marines? That's the easiest one.
The best
See, I've seen the Warhammer shops. I've never been in one though.
Yeah.
Well, there's
You should go in, Sally, because you're causing actual meltdown.
I have a female friend.
Oh my
that
god,
was-
there's a girl in the gaming shop.
I have a lassie pal that went in once with her boyfriend and says she was never gone back in because she felt like she was just getting gawked at. It's like
geeks are weird, man.
but they're a special kind of weird.
Yeah, you're telling me, Christ. I'll go in there and no one gawks at me, and I must be losing my sex appeal.
They all
See, I got
gawk at
people
me,
gawk
but
at
that's
me all
because
the
they can
time.
smell that I don't know the loreness of them.
Oh, yeah. I think he'll find it's the way that but as you say, I think I don't know if your friend had experienced this as well, Scott, going into a Warhammer store. It's now Warhammer. It used to be Games Workshop, but it was in case you go in a Games Workshop store and it was you'd go in with a girl and they would just, even if it was the girl who was interested in the thing, they'd just talk right through you to the guy because you're going, what the fuck? Come on, everyone's wanting. Just literally, you've got a female who's interested in playing the game, and you just. Oh yeah, so this is a man's thing, is it? Really?
I like watching they don't know how to handle like a little game there, so they
You've got some paint on your nails, mate. It's like, I think the thing is, I think
That is exactly what Scott thinks.
That's correct.
It is changing.
That's how I feel right now.
I think
It's changing, but
like,
it's slow.
Because like, there's a lot of things that I think that people would like in it, but it's like the problem is that a lot of the fan base is dicks about it. Like I think you would honestly love Warhammer, Sally. Like,
Aye, the fantasy setting for sure. Yeah.
yeah. Because
Again,
it's funnier. It's that
it was
kind
that fun. Sorry, it was that fantasy setting that got me into Warhammer and RPGs, and then discovering it was the old D&D board game, the one with the big red dragon on it.
What got me into Warhammer was I was a little kiddie, and I walked into a John Menzies because it was still John Menzies at the time.
Aye, John Mingus.
Yeah, and there was an issue of White Dwarf on the shelf, and it was the 5th edition fantasy cover of the one that's the Bretonnians versus the Beastmen. The lizard men, Bretonnians versus the lizard men, and I just looked at it. I'm like, knights fighting dinosaur guys. This is the coolest thing ever.
That is a fantasy setting, yeah, if you wanted, but
I'll be honest. Like when I was younger, I always went into the shop in East Kilbride. And
yeah,
I looked, and I was like, I can't get anything from here. And it always made me sad. And I'd look through the window, very sad. And I've never gotten enough that I can't go in and go, I can't afford this and walk out.
Yeah,
Even as an
that
adult
shot
with my own
on
money.
Yeah,
That East Coast
Ah,
Ride
Big
store
nose
was in
against
the
the window,
weirdest
just-
place.
Mhm.
yeah.
It was like
Richard,
so
do you
out
know
of
the
the
one in the
way.
metro?
Yes, I
That's the one that I used to
frequented
go
it
when I
all the
was
time.
younger.
Yeah.
I think I used to go. We used to look at the how cool things were and go, "Oh fuck, that's too expensive."
Oh yeah, that was the
Much for a
thing.
I mean,
Warhammer in
still
the
the case
window.
was like, "What the fuck?"
Oh,
I
it's
get
more
my
expensive
kids
now.
involved in that so they spend the money on that instead of drugs as they grow up.
I mean, it kind of is drugs.
Cool kill. Cool kill.
Yeah.
I was a cool kid. I was
In
spending on
fact-
plastic
In
crack.
fact, Sally, you would probably be cheaper getting your kids into smack.
Yeah,
For sure.
doing the drugs with the kids. Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I say that still can't justify the costs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
like,
ridiculous. Like
Yeah.
they'll release like quote unquote
Well,
army box sets where it's like 12 models for 150 quid.
I
No.
don't know if my friend is watching, but I was gifted this because he kept talking about Infinity.
Infinity
and
is amazing.
I've played it once, and because of my background and stuff, and he knows me quite well, he got me an NA2 model, Miyamoto Musashi. Now, if anyone
Yep.
who knows who
Aye.
Miyamoto Musashi is, he is dead
Oh.
because he's
Yeah.
from the past. But apparently, in the future, I can play as Miyamoto Musashi.
Yeah,
He got
it's
this and going,
it's
"Fuck yeah."
it's a thing in the Infinity setting where they basically like whatever big cyberpunkish organization it was, they went through like all these historical figures
Yeah.
and they just recreated them as robot clones.
Yep.
So you've got Miyamoto Musashi, you've got Saladin, you've
Yeah,
got
you get
William
Saladin as well.
you've got William Wallace,
Mhm.
Achilles, like
You have-
literally every character from the Iliad is in Infinity.
You have dog soldiers as well. You actually
Yes.
have werewolf Scots.
Yep.
Mhm.
I'm just, I was sold on it because
Yeah.
it's a really good system as well.
It's an amazing system, and there is a TTRPG version,
There is, that is
Yes.
true.
published by
Hmm.
Modiphius.
I'm just wondering.
I
Hmm, look
think,
at it.
if I remember off the top of my head, it was written by Ben Graybeaton,
I'm-
who has
Aye.
since moved on to work for Nightfall.
I will
Yeah.
also point out that there's only like 3, possibly 4 people in this stream that would play a cyberpunk setting.
technically not cyberpunk, but yeah,
Uh,
but,
I never
yeah.
played Cyberpunk.
As long as I can play Justice again, that's all I care about.
Justice. Yes.
Justice. Aye.
Yeah.
Oh, my mouth will be.
That he would fit in Slay. Is all I'm saying.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
Shadowrun.
Oh yeah, we never even mentioned Shadow.
I have wanted to play it, but I also heard that it's not great.
Shadowrun is a great setting,
Ha!
but a terrible
So-
system.
Best,
I've
the best
brought
version of it
down-
was the third. So,
What was the one that went wireless?
fourth, fifth.
Yeah, that was the one I played most of, and fourth. Yeah, that was the one I played the most of, and the one I had the most fun playing.
The third was the most I had playing because second ed you used to roll handfuls of d6s. I had 36 at one point rolling to.
Oh yeah,
Good
I mean
guns.
that's
Then
Shadowrun.
they cut it down. Yeah, then they cut it down to third, and I thought, yeah, it's a lot. They streamlined it.
So that seems like an awful lot of dice to expect any human to roll.
However, it's good because it scratches your futuristic kind of cyberpunk side with your high fantasy because you can go orcs, elves,
and
dwarves,
there's
and you can do
dragons.
magics. Yeah, it's very very good. It's a very very good
A
system
dragon's
for
a
that.
CEO instead.
I was going to say, dragons and guilds, companies don't.
Yeah, no,
Very much so.
not just a CEO. The president is a dragon.
Yeah, yeah.
Although I
sits on
think he
his
stole
hoard
that
of
from
money.
Terry Pratchett.
Yeah.
Never make a deal with the dragon.
So it's likes of that. Yeah, I mean you got Shadowrun and Infinity.
I would
I
want
think
to play a
realised
campaign
you just
in
reminded me
Shadowrun
that-
though.
You just reminded me. Have you ever seen a live action Shadowrun trailer?
I have. Was this the 80s or 90s? Good God. Yeah.
Made
was
for like
good.
50 quid.
It was good, to be fair.
It's so accurate because it was like the decker just takes up like most of the thing and they do nothing.
Yeah, for sure. Oh man,
But no, if I
I'm a bit
was to
nostalgic for that.
play Shadowrun, I'd probably want it to be a wee bit of a mini campaign. I don't think
Yeah.
a one
you
shot
have
of that
to.
could be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
I-
would be a one shot cat. It would be like a mini campaign thing because that's every time I played it. That's all we did was because it's missions. You're going on you're a runner.
Mhm.
You're doing things for companies, and that was it. Then you could move on, and yeah, it's one of those things where all you can make characters. If you wanted to play at that time, you could just come in as a group
Yeah.
So
and fill your resources.
I was going to say we have asked nearly everybody, in fact everybody, what games they would want to play in. What would DM wise? What would you like to run?
It's,
I'll put my hand to anything in DMing. Like I say, I am
I will
easy
not.
I
that way.
mean it like you'd like, not just like I'm happy to do anything for anyone. Just ones that you're like, oh, I really like the idea of running that.
Hmm.
I would run the Cowboy Bebop game in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Just I have a really
Oh.
big
Gordon can
love
send
of
you the
that
quick start. You
world.
can get ready to do one.
it's from what I've seen of the Cowboy Bebop
Start in half
system.
an hour.
It is
Yes.
very. Yeah, from what I've seen of the Cowboy Bebop system, it is very much tailored towards one shots.
That makes sense. If like
the
Cowboy
show
Bebop.
itself was
Yeah,
very. Every
yeah.
episode was
It's
contained.
like
Yeah, very one shot.
it's very weird because it's like 3-act structure and like everything, and it runs off clocks.
Can I
That's
go
what
Ed?
that's what Blades in the Dark runs with as well. Although it's
Yeah.
fine.
And you go, what?
Can I go
Fox.
Ed?
From Cowboy Bebop.
What about Ain?
He's very much clearly referencing the thing that we're like, yeah, I've not watched it. So yeah, you're just saying words.
But watch it.
Um,
Watch the anime, not
Yeah.
the live action.
Yes, for
Yep.
the love of God.
Absolutely.
I also want to say Deadlands Cowboys except magic.
Oh, I have that.
Mm.
I
was
have
looking at
Deadlands.
I like
I've that,
Cowboys because I like the idea of cowboy hats, but wizards.
Is this just
so-
Yeah,
because that
I'd
game we
back
did
that.
last week? You're just
Well,
like, I wanted the Cowboys more.
I've looked at Deadlands before, but yes, I did like being a cowboy that was also a ghost. That was great.
Leave very much wants his haw to be yeed.
Well, it
Don't we
doesn't-
all?
Deadlands
Don't we all?
It's
is
not
quite
cheap though. It's
interesting.
£50.
It's
Sorry,
a strange
$50. So real money,
it's
it's
a-
like 45 for
It is a strange system as Deadlands like.
Well, it didn't talk about what dice system
You
it used,
need
which usually
cards.
means it uses some crazy bullshit.
Oh,
cards.
It
dice.
uses cards.
It
Was it
uses
cards?
cards and
Yeah.
poker chips.
So it's got to be very difficult to do live on screen.
Nah, it's
No,
not-
no,
it's
you
not
can-
a Roll20
do it
thing,
on
man.
Roll20.
Yeah,
Sure.
Roll20 you can set
Why
up
they have
gets
to
cards
die?
on Roll20. Yeah.
But it is a strange system.
Because
But it's fun.
Blade Runner and Alien have also got card systems that I just didn't use, but
Yeah,
they also
well,
have card systems that I was like,
I agree. The card systems. It's a good idea, but I wouldn't be using them.
It's a nice innovation.
Aye.
For sure.
I'm glad that they're moving forward with different things. I'm not going to use them, but it's good that exists.
Yeah, to me,
Someone will use it and
I
I'll
feel
Well,
like
that's
it's
cool.
very cowboy-y though. Say if we were all around the table.
yeah,
like,
yeah,
one
no, it's
star.
thematic.
Chips and card, yes.
But to me, like all these games come around, they're like, our game runs off of cards. That's like 10 years ago when publishers were like, our game uses funky dice.
I love the one that uses Jenga.
Oh,
There's one called Dread, and it's basically
Dread.
every time you do something, you have to move a Jenga piece out,
It's a
Oh,
role
and
playing
it
game.
no.
dies when it
It's
falls.
an RPG game. For a skill check, you move. For any skill check at all, you have to play Jenga and take this turn. And the more you go, so if you pass, you get out. You fail the skill check if you want to knock it over, and then you rebuild and start from there. But it was based off a horror game, if I'm not mistaken. In
Dread.
fact, if I'm not mistaken, who did a version of it? They done 2 seasons, but we don't talk about it because there's certain people in it.
It's Sundry, Geeks and Sundry.
Geeks and Sundry. I was at Geeks and Sundry did good. If you look it up, Geeks and Sundry Dread is it's quite an interesting system.
I actually think it would work quite well because like nothing makes you shit yourself more than when you're moving a piece that you think's gonna drop that Jenga tower. It's
Oh,
like
mate.
I've
seen the
got shaky
second.
hands though, so I'm probably gonna
I would never be able
topple
to
the
play
whole
it.
thing over within a few seconds.
There is a big there is a big elephant in the room in the fact of you would need a Jenga set and we would need to all be there, which is the
No,
issue.
I'm just saying I couldn't
If
do
we
it
do the
anyway.
Comic Con idea that Lee's saying maybe we can play it.
Yeah, we go down to Newcastle. We'll contact Newcastle. Look, we're Twitch streamers. You know what I mean? We've got a few viewers. Why don't you let us do a game down here? Stream it.
We are famous Twitch streamers.
Yeah, exactly. We
We have
are
an
almost famous
audience.
Twitch streamers.
We are
We
paid.
often have viewer.
Yeah, we have we have tens of viewers. I'll have you know.
Yeah, we have tens of views.
We've had some of our videos have even broke 1,000 views.
Yeah, for sure. I mean,
Yeah, that's true.
what's your Newcastle Comic Con got, motherfucker? Nah.
Fuck all, probably.
So we've got.
Is it the one in Gateshead? Because I know they did one in
Yeah,
Gateshead as
yeah.
well. Is it the one in
It's
Gateshead?
probably in Gateshead.
To be fair, I probably because I was meaning to go down every so often just because one, Gateshead is where I'm from, and two, visit family, and I get to go and see the Comic Con. Maybe we should get a hold of them and say, look, we are Twitch streamers.
Wait.
We are Twitch
See,
streamers.
But then
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure like there are cons where it is like people just DM for the public and that. It's like
Yeah, con games are a thing.
because I've seen like there was a
We could do
Cthulhu one
that.
that was literally Cthulhu. I think it was Comic
Well,
Con or
so-
something, like as in it was for a con.
Okay,
I mean,
SunnyCon is at St James Park Stadium.
Oh,
So
That
a
is
football stadium.
that is
Yeah.
the football stadium, yeah.
It is
But it
the
is an
football
anime
stadium,
con.
Rach.
Yeah, it's a football stadium.
I'll have not a bad word said about
I'm
it.
not allowed to end.
You're born.
Don't go, guys. I'll burn alive as soon as I pass the threshold.
It's the same with me with the stadium of shite. Like,
Oh,
So what about your
Just,
set?
Rachel is physically incapable of crossing the Tyne.
yeah, there's no way.
I know. The bridge just collapses every time.
So
No, it goes up to stop you.
Oh no,
Fuck
the
you.
Markhams are trying to get across.
Who knew? Mackhams.
Well, whenever there's a football match between the two of us, the police are out and everything.
No, but
Friggin'
it's
mad.
been a while. It's been a while since we've had them though, because you are
Yeah.
lower below us in the
Yep, we
lower
are.
league.
We are a little bit, yes. Why?
saying
But
that.
you see all the police vans and everything. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
they're
that's-
playing football.
I think it's more just in case we punch horses again.
I was gonna say, David.
Hmm.
I know you're fairly new, but would you want to ever run something? I think you'd be quite good with your acting skills at it.
He's also on mute.
He's not on mute.
I thought I'd flicked my mute button there, but I
Oh,
was
yes.
halfway through,
Sorry.
so
I better really look up.
I would absolutely consider doing it at some point. It is actually something that I'd considered doing before, like 3-4 years ago. Zoe got me this Stranger Things D&D start kit,
Yeah.
and I even started looking through it, and I was absolutely loving it. I had a few people at the time who were even considering playing with us at the time, but unfortunately, life got in the way. And so, as time more went on, and I was sitting there thinking, it got in my head and just went, oh, nobody's just wanting to get involved. I partially took that on myself, thinking, oh, maybe I'm just not good enough to be a DM. That's actually part of why I joined this as well. Just going, all right, I'll start somewhere where I'm with people who know it better. That way I can actually get an idea as to whether that's something I'd ever go into. I basically overcomplicated it in my head. It made it think that I needed to be amazing at everything, otherwise people would never play. But I think
I'm
at some
terrible at
point,
everything, and
it's-
people enjoy my games.
It's the Matt it's the Matt Mercer effect.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Exactly. That was my only comparison for it at that
Same,
point
though.
in time. So
Yeah, it's what I've found, and I think Dick will corroborate this, is over the years I've noticed that a lot of people seem to think GMing is harder than it actually is.
Sally,
It's not.
just brilliant.
It's a piece of piss.
Yeah.
Because you just make that shit up because you're the GM.
Yeah, it's like when you start, you like you said, David, you tend to start like overcomplicating things,
Mhm.
and then you realize, wait a minute, I'm writing like a war and peace for every adventure, and I don't need to.
For sure.
Exactly. Like
Oh, so,
No,
yeah,
like to say, I used to do that as well, especially when I started out back in AD&D. Case of, eventualities for everything, and then your group, you spent like 2 days writing this thing, and then your group would go off on a tangent with you. It was on something you haven't prepared. It's one of the reasons why I'm so good at improv when it comes to games, because I'm going, well, here's the. So I just write basic guides and go, right, this is what's here. This is a couple of other side stuff. If this happens, I'll just play it. I'll just wing it. And 9 times out of 10, I'm having to wing it. So
If memory serves as well, if I remember right, when we started off with this campaign on that boat, you actually turned around after we all dived into the Iron Oak Ocean and just said, "I planned on being there eventually, but I had no intention for you guys to be there this early."
Yes, for sure. When the ship started sinking and you went in after Nim and that, yes,
I mean,
that was a case of
he
God.
said that, right? However,
he did.
He sank a ship in the middle of the ocean. Where else were we going?
There was another ship there, remember?
Yeah.
There was the ship. There was this.
We had the ship
and then
we
the
came
Leviathan
onto the ship
attacked us
with.
and smashed it.
There was a ship we
Right,
went
it
onto
happened.
with.
There was a rowboat, Scott. There was a rowboat, right?
Yeah.
It happened.
Whatever.
We move on. I've apologized enough times.
It was my fault. I was the one that was like, yeah, my character's going to die. Fuck this. And Tally was like, wait, what?
I'll say for GM and stuff, it's like depends what I'm running. I do feel Cthulhu's a pain in the arse. Like you have to do you have to do a lot of prep work before it. You know this. It takes you weeks to do a Cthulhu scenario.
I kind of get where you come from, Scott. But I mean, you know me. Like I gave my ultimate GM tip of don't write plot, write bullet points.
Aye.
Yeah.
It's also why I've kind of I've found ways to shrink it, and a lot of it's just here's a bunch of locations, here's what the bad guy's doing, and use.
The game I gave you, Lee and Steph, the Cthulhu. And it was hard enough doing it with 3 characters, but as I said, says I gave you a timeline. This is a timeline, and this is the end goal here. Says this is what's going to happen if you don't intervene. And there's certain bits that will speed up the time or slow down the progression. And basically in Cthulhu, you write a timeline and go, this is what's going to happen at this moment, because that's horror. You write it like a horror. You've got your first, second, and third act. It says, if this happens and you've got this particular thing, you will jump to this point in the second act, and then so on and so forth. It's the best way of doing it, as Gordon says, bullet points.
Yeah. But again, like, bullet point your plot really works. But for example, for Vampire, I don't write plot for Vampire. I write characters.
Look at this. Sally's taking class. I love it. I genuinely love it.
Sally,
so I write characters, and the characters obviously have their own motivations and stuff, and it's how the crossing of these characters' motivations interact and how your characters interact with those characters, and that's what fuels the plot.
I was talking about it on Twitter not that long ago, and it's like different writing styles and stuff, and I actually think it translates out to GMs as well. There's the ones that have to do a lot of planning up front, and then there's the ones that like just write characters and just put the characters in a situation and see what happens. And they're very much a deal with it as it comes.
Yeah.
Because Stephen King and George R.R. Martin says that if they write out plot lines, they don't write the book because they feel like it's complete.
Yeah, it's the sandbox versus the railroad.
Aye. But as for me, it's like I did do that, but it's like try to get locations and that, try to make sure there's twists, try to make sure there's clues, and is there enough clues for you to find that you're going to solve it? Although then I found out the trick that I can just move my clue if you miss it.
Clues,
yep. And then that solved a lot of issues.
The hardest part is writing puzzles that are not too hard.
Have you read? So Scott, have you read the? There's a blog called The Alexandrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, the three clue rule.
Mm-hmm.
Where for all your puzzles, for all your mysteries, whatever, you always have 3 clues that they can find. So if they miss one, they're not, they might pick up. You know what I mean? They can miss 2, but they're probably not going to miss 3.
Aye, exactly. But it's like, as in some ones could, like, that one I was doing where he's got a hod of the Necronomicon. I was sitting there like, yeah, they have not collected the thing they need to win. And I'm sitting there like, how do I do this? Okay, this character is now part of the cult and he is betraying the cult. Here's the book. And
Yeah.
that was just a pure improv moment that was never meant to happen. And then you absolutely loved it because Bob the bartender ended up being an evil cult wizard.
Yeah, perfect, mate. Absolutely perfect. That's what you do. If you need to, you improv as quickly as you can.
It's not really
Okay,
what you
what
want.
other hints and tips do you have?
Well, for vampire.
Any?
Don't. The greatest tip, Sally, is don't worry.
Yeah, for sure. Don't worry about it. Just you keep relaxed about it. The story will progress.
Yeah.
Whether you want it to or not, the story will progress.
And at the end of the day, even if you think the players have missed something, they're not going to know.
Yeah,
because they missed it.
Aye, and
One
look,
thing I found is
vampires.
if you.
I
I was going to say, one thing I found with the Alien. Let me do mine. One thing I found for Alien that I wrote that was that I was terrified I hadn't wrote enough. Fuck me, I wrote way too much. I'd done like a page for every room in the ship, and they literally got through like 6 rooms, and I'd done like 15 rooms. Like, holy shit! But so like as Gordon was saying, don't panic because anytime you run out of time, just let them talk, and they will stand and argue over a box. They're like, this box
Going up
means
or
something.
down, just twig.
They'll look, turn it round, they'll go over to a shelf, they'll look through the shelf, and they're like,
yeah.
oh, what's in the shelf? What's in this beak? And they'll just keep talking.
Yeah,
and once
that's-
they've got enough,
Nothing
That
bad.
is definitely the one thing, when your players walk into a room and you describe it to them, they will check everything over that you have mentioned in the room with like nothing with the most obsessive of OCD you will ever see in anyone because you mentioned it, therefore it's important.
You said there was a red chair. Why is the chair red?
My favourite. My favourite
Does
has
it
to
look different than the other chairs?
My favourite game has to be the one where it's like, as in, you see what appears to be a perfectly normal door.
Yeah.
And it is a perfectly normal
It's the
door.
second that word
It's
comes out.
because you said it looks like your normal. It
40
makes you
minutes
think
later.
it's normal.
It's when
Open
you
side
mentioned
door.
that, Scott, I remember I trapped the guy for like a full 5 minutes in the room because there's a door there, there's a handle on the door. And he's like, you okay? I pulled the door open, door doesn't open,
And it's push.
and he kept trying to pull the door.
I pull.
I'm like, it doesn't open. He's like, I pushed the door open. Door opens.
It's incredible. You will feel a bit sad. See if you write a lot of content they don't get it. You're like, oh.
No,
Aw.
Well,
I will say for vampire.
Yeah, there's perfect examples of that. Even in like say, I think there was one episode of Critical Role had done that where we go, right, this is it, okay, and then just bypass it. So Matt goes, yep, just grabs a rod and just throws it over and says, yep, we don't need that. That's great. But that is the game. It says you can always use that again at a later date, especially if it kind of fits with the scenario and the narrative. It's like to say, so if you write something and you miss it, you can always reuse that. There's no
It goes
point
in the
going,
pile.
well, that's that. Yeah. The amount of things I've got sitting in a pile ready to reuse because half the stuff in this Florium you've missed, and then I have to go, right, well, I can put that in another scenario or another game.
Yep.
And I have to come up with new stuff at the same time. For instance, I want to make a bomb. Okay, let's
Remember
do
that
this
bomb
then.
that we had? Remember that?
Yeah, you've still got acid bombs from the rain.
Yeah, I do.
With the
Well, I
acid bombs,
did.
we also have the finger trap that may or may not be an explosive, but we just kind of like walk, yeah, whatever. Let's jump
That
in the
doesn't
ocean.
exist anymore, please.
No,
Or
that's
my
it. That's my
favourite,
example
the
of
goblin blood.
yeah. That's my example
yes.
of the timeline thing, though. You get to a certain point, so that is technically on a timer, but that's on hold until you meet a certain criteria, and then I can progress that. But that's a perfect example of that. But you've got a hold of this box, which for one, it annoys Lee because I give Lee a box nearly every game and he never gets to open.
Eventually,
He's
you'll
given
open
me
it.
a literal mystery box in like 70% of the games I've ever played.
You
And
love
then
it.
the games petered out. Don't listen to them.
Excuse me while I take a note.
Oh, you
Yeah,
would hate
sure, he
what I
hates
would do. See if you eventually opened the box and it was my game, there'd just be another box inside it.
It's a
Yeah, that's
matryoshka.
I have
What
a
were
That would be
saying?
amazing.
big
What were you
problem
saying
with
about
mystery
vampires,
portraying.
Scott?
I was saying that from what it seems to me is characters, locations, and half your locations is find a bunch of interesting locations in that city, and then like Gordon says, figure out the motivations. Is anybody got to be against you for what you're doing? Will this cause problems with them? Will they want to do something about it? And then it's like, yeah, like the players are going to do things like if I'm playing a character that's just turned, and it's like you might give them a wee small task or something, like because you give his tasks, like Gordon's gave his tasks, but it can be something simple. It could be just yes, give this vampire a message, and it's basically them declaring war on them. But it's like you're in the middle of that. That's an RP session right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you've just
That's
started a
Yeah,
war
you've got to
with it.
ask what is the message, what it's for. Then you have to look it over to make sure there's nothing weird about it.
Also, take a note of a page of a lot of different names, male, female, whatever, and different types of menial tasks and jobs, because someone will always get, and Lee can attest to this in Floria, or someone will always be interested in a random NPC, and you need to come up with a name, a job, and what they do. Right? It's always good to have, because if someone asks who's this person's name, you go,
I'm
Joanna.
hoping you're not all going to be that like twattish
Well,
when I
I
first DM.
I won't, simply because I know
It
what
is
it's
a
like
rite of
being a DM.
passage. Right.
I just want to
You
see
will
what you
miss-
think on the spot. That's why I do it. It's just
You
like
will-
to see what comes up, just out of pure because I know you can't have that the questions I'm going to ask prepped. I just want to see what you come up with.
Yeah, for sure. See what your
You will
mind is. It's like-
mistakenly give an NPC an extra characteristic. You'll be like, oh, there's a blonde lady with a t-shirt with a band name. I'll be like, oh, what band? And we'll go over to her and we'll start
When did
quizzing
she
that
first
NPC.
hear the band? Who did she go to the band
You know,
with? She went
3
to the band
songs by
herself.
them.
Yeah, it's going to be one. Oh, you're a fan of Machine Head. Named 5 songs.
What
So
year
the
was it
fucking
released?
hell.
Lee did this in Florium with a particular elven song, if I'm not mistaken. I had to come up with an elven lullaby on during the ship, on the pirate ship. Yeah, you did.
Yes.
But that
Came
says
up with
all
an
about
elven
it.
lullaby, and I had to come up with lyrics all of a sudden quickly about what the
Yeah.
story was, about the lullaby, and what it meant in relation
I have
to that. Because
no
he
recollection of this
because
whatsoever.
he kept
I remember
pushing
this.
it. He kept pushing it, and I kept going because I knew if I stop, he's never gonna let me forget it. So it was a case of when he was just going, you know what, Richard, that's actually pretty cool. So yeah, thank you.
That
Yeah,
was
it's
cool.
No
That
pretty
really
cool. But I
was.
mean, you could also have just shot it down at any point and said, yeah, it's an elf lullaby. It's about putting kids to sleep.
Yeah, that's what it does. Yeah, but what is it? What's the
I'll-
meaning of it? Well, it's about this story about these two star-crossed lovers that come across, and yeah, I just kept going on like that.
What's the story of it? It's a kid's song. It's just nonsense.
Yeah. The worst thing about it was I had to write it down and remember it so I could remember it the next time in case it ever came back up again. But it was good to add bits to the lore.
I remember when he tried to do it to me though, I was just like, his name's Jimmy, and it's like, well, if you got any family members, I'm not telling you about my family, you weirdo.
Yeah. Fuck you, I don't know really, do you?
Was your weak DMing. There we go.
Exactly, my weak
Shots
DMing.
fired.
Or not.
I'm a terrible GM.
We all
All
agree.
My favourite Leeism was that brief period of time during games where he always seemed to set off a bomb.
Oh god, that was fun. I thought I was getting punished for something. Like,
Everywhere he went, there was a bomb.
It was unfair. Every week I'm getting blown up. I don't know what I'd done to you guys to deserve that. But yeah, oh god.
Hey man, just some days you can't get rid of a bomb.
Yeah. Some-
Yeah. But Sally likes to say if you've got a particular story in mind and that, just put down major bullet points you want within the
Yep.
story, major bits you want to hit, and then anything that goes around it, you can either come up with or, as I say, write specific things down. If you've got ideas, and then just go with the flow. But at the end of the day, it's just a game. Doesn't matter what happens, it's just a game.
It's
And
I'm
if you're
not
really worried
gonna
about
lie. There's
stories-
probably somewhere in the cosmos or a bunch of space aliens sitting around a table like, oh yes, I'm gonna get Gordon to say this. So roll charisma.
Fail all the time in charisma.
I shouldn't have made
My dump
charisma my dump stat.
stat. God damn it.
And then the guy that's playing me is just looking at it going, every single one of my stats are a dump stat.
And the guy looking at me going, "And now you sure my knees don't work? Come on now."
Hey, no, that's my guy.
That's what you get
That's
for
my flaw.
aging
Yeah,
out.
that's my flaw.
That's what you get for aging out and doing all those wrestling roles.
Yes, roll for pension. Oh.
Then there's the one that's playing Lee. He's just like sitting in the corner, drinking booze and popping painkillers.
Yeah.
He's
Moisturising.
Just
Oh,
I don't
that
want to know
sounds
who's
chugging
so
playing
gallons
Logan.
of
Say it
space
like
vodka.
I don't want to know who's playing Logan.
Oh. And he turns-
Nobody knows.
he
They never
barely
read the
turns up.
rules.
He barely turns up, and he's one of those spare characters that if a new player turns up, he gets to play. Just doesn't know the rules, doesn't know, just happy to be in the group.
Poor Logan.
I love
He's
Logan.
not even in chat.
Oh, well, that's
Fair,
exactly.
Logan was getting very good. The problem was nobody was interacting with him.
I
was looking at another Cthulhu game there called Fate of Cthulhu. Has anyone heard of that? What's that?
Just the Fate system, Cthulhu.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh,
So
Fate system's not too bad.
I was just looking through different game systems while you were chatting. What's happened in the last 20 minutes?
I played Fate once, and I wasn't.
It's
I was a bit,
basically a system. Yeah,
Is
it's
it not
basically a
just
system.
GURPS, but a different type?
Kind of. It's a system you can put anything to. If you want to play fantasy, you can. You want to play modern, you can. It's.
I'd be tempted to grab BRP since most of my favourite games are percentage based, and I'm
Yeah.
sitting there like that might be a good multi-system.
It's got some really cool art packs. That's what kind of like caught my eye there. But like they look really badass. I'll have a look at that.
But
I've heard good
well,
things about it. I've just never played it.
like I say, I think we're coming up on 2 hours anyway. We've got 10 minutes left, so if there's anything else you just kind of want to discuss, like I say, it was actually good to do this on stream so people get an idea of what kind of madness we're going through and why we're doing what we're doing. And especially it started to 2023 because going forward, it's hopefully going to help grow the channel, if anything, because if anything, growing the channel.
Where did we land on occasionally streaming games then? Video games? Are we going to do it?
Video games.
Video games, yeah. Because me and Scott were almost on Stardew Valley one day, and they were like, we're kind of busy.
I'm happy to. I do have another game that I think would be good for the stream. Banner Saga. It's a
Banner Saga.
Hey, hold on, is that the one? I feel like I know this. Banner Saga, is that the one? Is it like the combat game?
It's tactics. It's like your it's like your mutant. It's a tactics based game, but it's a very story based one that's all voiced and stuff.
XCOM.
I think that was for. I think that was for free on Game Pass at one point. Because I remember looking at it and then it was really fucking hard.
I think it's got a few Banner Sagas, right?
It's hard because you've got lots of people, like because you gather more people as you go, and it's expected that you'll lose some because it's meant to be a sad game.
Yeah.
Sure. I do remember like losing lots of like of my units. Like, I was like, this is depressing.
You are meant to lose.
I remember Banner Saga launching, and at the time I heard a lot of people comparing it to. I'm probably the only person that knows this game, King of Dragon Pass.
Yeah, sure, correct. You're the one that knows that game.
Yeah, it's a great game.
Well, if it's like Banner Saga, it is because I played the first Banner Saga and I really liked it.
King of Dragon Pass. It was brilliant. It's all about like building up your fantasy village and stuff. Set in the RuneQuest setting.
Oh,
gross.
That was another one that could have been a replacement for D&D.
RuneQuest.
Yeah, Lee would like it. You get to play ducks.
Oh, nice. So that's all I ask for from any game. That's the only reason we're going to be playing Dragonbane at some point is because you can play like Darkwing Duck, and I'm into it.
Yeah. When there's trouble, you call DW.
It's got some cool artwork, and it's just of ducks like as paladins.
I love how Sally's so bored she started reading a book.
No, she's
checking her notes.
Checking her notes.
She's literally writing a vampire campaign as we speak.
Amazing. I love the fact that her juices are flowing. No, wait.
Phrasing.
Jesus.
Phrasing. Jesus, I apologise.
I've been writing the different TT RPGs that we've been saying, so I thought at the end of the stream I'd say all of them and just as a recap.
The games that I've got coming up are obviously Call of Cthulhu. I was going to say Bridgewater Bay or something like that. It was like Brindlewood Bay. And another thing I've been bouncing about my head is Basin.
Basin.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I think maybe on Roll20. I've not actually
It's
looked at
kind of
that.
like 18th century. It's an investigation one, but instead of it being like Cthulhu creatures, it's like mythical ones. So you could be dealing with like fairies and shit like that. It looked quite good. It looked like it had some potential. The artwork's gorgeous. And I have heard good things about it. It's a Nordic one, but then you get the Britain and Ireland one as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I think you mentioned this before, actually.
I go to off Humble Bundle, so I've got pretty much all their stuff, and it did look quite good because like sometimes it's like being nice to a creature could be better for you, like because you're just trying to banish them.
Yeah.
Like you're
So
trying.
Rachel wasn't playing then, no.
It's a free league game.
Yeah.
It's
Rachel wasn't
basically
playing then.
Because it must be great. That'll be where I've seen it then. I've seen it on the Free League website.
Aye.
Yeah, because that's where you live now.
Aye.
Yeah, it's
So
that's
be
my
you
fair.
might want
page.
to run it at one point. It's just
Like,
I like to look at.
Lee has started paying free league rent.
Yeah, I would. To be fair, I would. Man, if we could get a sponsored off of Free League, because I do love Free League stuff as well. Like, I'm not gonna lie about that.
They might become a wee bit of a powerhouse. So it's like nobody ever has any problems with any of their games. Is there any of them that's disliked?
Well, like I say, it's the same. It is the same dice system. It's just different settings of it. And if they've got IPs, then fucking why not?
Has
So-
anybody actually reached out and asked them?
Yeah, me.
Actually, yeah, we tried. Yeah.
I emailed. I did an email. I sent a message to their Facebook page, and they just sent me an email said, "Email this," and I never emailed it because I thought, like, well, I don't want to get insulted. Like, fuck off, you idiots.
Aye, but they
I
might
still-
just go. They might just give us a copy of something and just go.
Yeah,
Aye.
because
I think they've liked some of our posts as well. I think we've atted at them on Twitter and they've liked some of our streams and that. I don't know.
have they not watched us? Did they not watch us as well at one point?
Maybe
I
that's
think
when they stopped
so.
talking to us.
Yeah. Probably why. Yeah, it's just don't want to be involved with
Yeah.
these fuckers.
Shall
Makes
I
sense.
ask them and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna be DM. Can I get one of yours to be my first ever?"
Wow, say it exactly like that as
Aye.
well.
Yeah.
Just put the wink at
Just
the end.
the video chat rather than an email.
Jesus.
Just every time we stream a game, just tag the publishers and the pre-stream post, the announcements. I just put the words "Gimme stuff."
At one point, that's all
You
I
give
was
me
doing
stuff,
in
you
the
zip
tweet.
and more.
Yeah, I was just tweeting
They
like
want
to
to
say
give
we
me
were playing
physical
Free League
versions
stuff.
of
It's just,
base and I'd
yeah,
happily.
we're playing at Free League's game. They must have got
Free
sick
League,
at that point.
they do actually have their own Twitch channel. And
They
it's
do.
got
Aye,
more
all them do.
followers than us. Yeah.
Oidum de Chaosium does it. It's like it's basically where they get the professionals in.
Right, I'm going to tell you this right now. They're streaming right now.
Mhm.
They're doing some kind of game. Also, they have not managed to convince any women to play with them. Therefore, we're already better than they are.
So we're
So
raiding them, right?
When I email them, I'll say, by the way, we have 2 women that will play your game at least.
Mhm.
We could raid. We could raid them after this.
We could.
It's
Ooh.
not them specifically. It's a guy called Them Dave who does stuff for them. Oh man, he's only got 276 followers. He's actually not doing much better than us.
There we go. Say them we might be on their channel.
And it's like, mate, come on. And you've only got 7 viewers. So have we. And there's 6 of you playing. They're obviously in the same situation.
No, it's 10. We're up to 10.
I'm up to 10.
Because we have a Mr.
Yeah.
And I'm not one of them.
Oh, hey. Hey, Logan.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
going to
actually
say
not.
that.
Logan's ears must have been burning.
for sure.
Yeah, they've all been insulting you.
I mean, who goes to listen? Who goes
Oh.
to?
I defended you. Bogart
Who goes to a
defended your
buffet?
honour, Logan. Even though he slagged you in the first place, but don't ignore that part.
I mean, who goes to a buffet, right, and just eats one meal? I'm sorry.
Oh dear God, he's
Madness.
gonna leave.
A single curry.
A single curry at a buffet. Come on now.
Old one curry.
He's popping into the chat, popping into the vid stream just now, just to tell you after that.
I wouldn't blame him.
No, I wouldn't either.
Aw.
So yeah, I think we're coming up to 2 hours anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, for anyone who's watching, and any of the fans watching, this is probably what we're going to be. This is not probably what we're going to be doing. This is what we're going to be doing. For the 2023, it's going to be smaller campaigns, but it might be longer. It's probably going to be longer campaigns, but with sessions in like different seasons. Like Lee had kind of started the trend off of Mutant. for likes of that, except we'll
Abandoned ship
smaller one
first,
or
you mean?
someone.
Yeah, I abandoned my
Yeah.
campaign first, yeah.
Like
It
to
had
say,
an ending, though. There was an ending to it.
this
Thing
is true.
happened.
No, well, like to say,
I
we're
mean-
discussing it as well, and for some reason, you seem to be quite upset about the fact that Florian could be coming to end. So yeah,
Yes!
well,
Um,
like
yeah.
I say, I
I don't
will.
know if my character is coming back as some kind
So-
of like revenant, or
Yeah,
whether he's coming back as just
for
like,
now,
well,
there will be the end to the season because we all
BBG.
seen the last episode of with Ralph, and I see him coming back. And like to say, it'll give me time to look at some of the high fantasy settings that we can convert over to. We should, like I say, there's plenty out there
Rocket.
that we can deal with. But hopefully, forward in 2023, guys, we will see a lot more DMs coming in. Some old, some older, some new, brand new.
None newer.
Little virgins that they are for the kind of thing. For different types of games, it is as if we're going to go forward and promote more games out there. Because, like I say, if anything has been learned from this whole D&D debacle, is the fact is there is a lot more systems out there. If there's one thing to come out of this, that is putting more eyes on more systems to say, well, where can we go from there? Whether you agree with it or not is another matter. But like to say, you know where I stand. You know where all of us stand out.
I'm going to say, like, you guys all know where I've kind of stood on 5e for a long time.
Yeah, for
We
sure.
certainly do.
Yeah. You never, because he's hid it well, though he hides it well. But
Guys are by never playing the 5e games.
Yeah.
That's how he hides it.
Just
what's
the
the
difference.
likes of that? Yeah,
Your stance has been in front of the Wizards of the Coast building with a bottle, a Molotov in hand, just waiting for someone to
staring
pass
at
it later.
A big sign that says, I've been in front of this, the Seattle company every day until they fuck off.
So again, if you can watch this, and well, share it if you want, like I say, because we are a relatively young channel. We're coming up on a year. Would you believe?
Wow.
Are we?
Yeah, for sure.
When's our anniversary?
When's our anniversary? Surely it's not like till...
I would just
I
imagine
think
have
it is
not
actually
been
next
March,
month.
April.
Is it? I thought it was in the summer.
We have
Uh,
not
we
been
should do
playing.
it
In March, April, May. I
we
know
should
it's
do something for
coming
our
up
first-
soon.
I'm
Yeah.
pretty
How
sure
do
it's
you find that
February.
out?
Really?
That
Yeah, well, I
can't be
know,
true.
Is it February the
uh,
12th?
That
'cause that's my
cannot be
birthday?
true.
I know Florium is probably the case of we're coming up on a year. Or
Well, I mean, there was
maybe
only like
Yeah.
14 episodes of like Mutants, so that's like
Yeah.
that'd be like 4 months. But then I know we were off for a month, so I mean, surely we're only like 6 or 7 months old.
Yeah, well, we've
Yes.
not done that long.
Yeah,
You
Florium.
guys are mental. There's no way it's
And
almost a year.
Florium's coming up on a year, especially if we're not talking about from.
Oh, Florian was pre-streamed.
In total
Yeah.
for Valorian beforehand, yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably coming up.
Well,
with
Mutant
I'll
only
need to
went
check that.
for... Yeah,
I
there's no
could
way.
check
You guys are
However,
once. I could check
Scott,
once.
Well,
check right now.
yeah.
Everybody shut up. Just gotta check.
Yeah, yeah, but like I say, from there, going forward, that's what we'll be doing. Again, yeah, because like I say, there's so many more game systems out there. You can either see you're playing highlight, and just for that reason, just to make the channel grow a wee bit better and a wee bit stronger cause of it. Because whatever's happening down there with D&D, I don't think it's going to be good for any of us. But I don't think it's going to be good for the channel either. It'll probably end up, because again, D&D community is a raging garbage fire. Most communities are, but you get the odd ones.
I mean,
Well,
it's gonna be
not
bad for the
a
channel
fantasy
referring
one.
to the communities as raging garbage fires. That's probably going to do a bit of damage to the people watching it as well. But
For
yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
well, D&D more so, because when communities get big and they start to get big and then they start to get the holier than thou kind of vibes, it's
He says in his
Well, I
gatekeeping,
mean,
gatekeeping
it's-
way.
Like, let's just put it this way: like D&D is the only tabletop RPG I know of where an entire sub-community branched out and made their own versions of D&D because they wanted to be racist.
I think we've seen a couple of those channels on there which we decided not to ever go to.
Yeah, we went and visited one. Like, hey, let's go
Yeah, we
visit. And they went, oh my god,
Hold on, we need to get back out here.
Oh
We
my
don't want
God,
nothing to do with them.
They're literally dressed as a KKK. Abort,
Yeah.
abort.
It was a style choice. However, for those who
A
stuck around,
ghost, a pointy-headed ghost. Okay.
for those who stuck around for the chatting and catch up, we'll do more of these as well over this year. We will go offline. We'll discuss more times, like I say, because we do have Mondays and Tuesdays and Wednesdays,
Yeah.
but there may be more times where if we're doing more games and get more people involved and available, there may be more doors opening. Again, we were talking about bringing in guests as well, guest players, because that I kind of felt that went well for the Halloween, especially with the Terminator one where I brought in Smidge, good friend of ours. Obviously putting eyes on that as well because Smidge is a better channel than ours. So
28th of July is when.
20th of July. There we go. So we now have our
next
BAFTA.
month, you crazy bastards.
I actually felt like it was longer.
I was going to say it has
it's-
not
it was the
been that
summer.
long.
It's next month
Sally
if you have
nailed-
absolutely no concept of time.
Yeah.
This is true.
And I'll be honest, that
Next month,
28th of
July.
January, that 28th of July was probably when I was streaming the games to get us views for.
Yeah, exactly. So that's before we even started
that-
fucking
so-
streams.
Doesn't matter though. 28th
Aye.
of July. We now have a time. We now have a date. That means we need to come up with a birthday. I would stream for birthdays.
Yeah, we've got 6 months to think
You all
of it.
need t-shirts by then, right?
Yeah, I will
Right.
definitely
Send
have
me
a
a
Sanity
t-shirt.
Check t-shirt.
I will have a sanity check vest as well for DMing.
I won't, because I don't wear vests for getting. For
Shocking. No,
I
but
know
if you're DMing, you have to wear
I
a vest,
will
especially
Effie.
if Sally's doing it.
I will
Well, it'll be in the
update
summer, so
my
I'll just wear a t-shirt.
I'll update my little Discord icon to a sanity check thing, whatever.
For sure.
Yay.
There'll be a
Miriam, sure
picture
she
of
would nice.
your upper body
Yeah.
with just the vest on. And that's it.
We should,
No face, no
we
legs.
should get like
just
some. We should get some merch that says like "fuck Wizard of the Coast," and like if we sold them, we'd probably get a lot.
Oh, that's a
I'm
statement.
absolutely
that's
not
bold.
doing that.
That's a bit much.
I am
Aye.
not taking on a
I
mega
think this
corporation.
is all got to.
No,
I
me
honestly
either.
think people have got to be back.
I will happily take on mega corporations.
I was gonna say. I mean,
No,
now
then you've
we're
got
gonna make
nothing
money.
better to do with your time, right? I mean, okay.
Are we still streaming, by the way?
We
Probably.
are.
Of course we are.
Yeah, okay.
Right, anyway,
Yeah.
we've got anything else to plug. Come on, watch me play Blade Runner
Yeah,
tomorrow.
exactly.
I'm
Tomorrow
gonna add
we
freely.
tomorrow
we
we
got Blade
have.
Runner.
Yeah, we've got
Yeah,
Blade
there's-
Runner tomorrow,
there's
run by a
actually
good
only
DM.
3 of us playing. There's only
Yeah,
Minnie,
run by a good
Rach,
DM.
and
Lee.
other
Wow.
guy.
Okay.
Logan.
Wow.
Look at
Oh
that.
my god.
Curryboy.
Liam was meant to be playing, but then I don't know, something happened with that, and then
I'll play. I'll play
yeah,
tomorrow if
Bye. No.
fuck off. Yeah.
Of course you can.
Well, there's only 3 of us
Of
now.
course
which
you-
is
He doesn't
perfect
want
number.
justice in Blade Runner.
We'll also
Pop on at 7 o'clock. We'll discuss your character, and if I like it, I might let you play.
yeah. We'll also discuss what's happening.
I actually have an idea for my character. I don't know. Fucking sorry.
See if it's your usual crew. Yeah, whatever. Like, we'll talk about
It
tomorrow.
can't be an investigator because we already got 2 of those.
We will also discuss what's happening on Tuesday as well, because obviously saying that says well, we'll put a hiatus on Florium now until we get a system sorted. But from then, that's Tuesday's
Need to
free. If
end
anyone
it
else wants to run a
first.
game, it's not ended yet.
So just to clarify, guys,
It
so
basically
far,
has.
me and Scott are carrying the channel. We're the only ones that turn up. Richard not only cancelled the session, didn't even have a plan.
Shocking, unbelievable. This is the idea.
This is
what
a
it
level of
feels like.
professionalism you get with
Yeah,
into this.
I
We
purposely.
went, okay, we're not
This is
playing
what
it.
happened.
He's said
Yeah.
nothing.
I got
I mean,
fuck all planned. I purposely went out and leaked the OGL, so all this would come to a head. So I could just let
It's
go.
been
I'm not
it
gonna
was
do
so
it
for the
anymore.
last 2 weeks.
Wait, what do you mean you leaked it? Remember, I'm the one that takes on the mega corporations.
He hired
I
you.
wrote the OGL, then leaked it.
With help from Gordon, who lives in 5-5 knowledge. So yeah, like I say, we'll discuss what we're doing on Tuesday because, like I say, that means it's open up to actually one of the 4 month the month game. If anyone wants to run a system, if anything, like I say, or I can run another system. We'll think of a game and says, you know what, we'll do a month thing.
Unfortunately, Tuesdays don't work for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
don't worry,
Tuesday
don't worry.
don't work for me
We'll
either.
discuss this off stream. But
Right,
again,
yeah, whatever.
for anyone for our 6 month thing, genuinely thanks for watching us. I mean, there's folk like yourselves who get us up to 11 viewers at any one time. And watch the shit we are doing. Yeah, we appreciate you,
listeners are in.
despite Lee's sarcasm, because you know he's a drunken pill popper. So don't listen to him.
I mean, you should. I'm not talking about accurate.
Yeah, but
Are you
he does
even
not deny it. He
drinking?
tells the truth.
Mhm.
Yeah, he's been drinking all this session.
I've not been
Oh.
drinking. I don't drink. I'm working tomorrow. I
Yeah,
might
but
do something else, so.
Pills.
How dare you, right? First of all, Twitch don't like that kind of thing. So absolutely,
It's
unequivocally,
medicine.
I don't ever take things I'm not supposed to.
No, but you're
It's called
supposed to. That's the
medicine.
thing. Yeah, it's called medicine.
Right.
It's medication. It's pain pills. This is what it is.
Absolutely
Hello.
not.
That's
I
it.
am not ever doing such a thing.
Couldn't have you any other way, Lee.
Yeah,
They're
I
So,
not.
what
They're
we're
not
saying is-
drugs. They're
sober.
just chalky sweeties.
Yeah, I would
Yeah,
have
it's
Lee.
just
I would
sweet.
have Lee sober. However, again, thank you very much for watching. Again, to our good friends, to David, to Lee, to the Ball of Sunshine Sally, to the young babyface man Lee, not Leon.
Leon, yes, he's not
That's
Lee.
the one. He has an E at the end of his. He has a ON at the end of his Lee.
Yeah, baby.
Rachel just below me. Oh god, that's funny. Oh, Sally.
What the
Sally.
fuck did you just say?
Sally.
Rachel, who is in the centre
Rachel.
of the screen, is the way
Yeah,
you say that.
So what
Rachel
you're
is
saying
just
is
below
he's-
me because
there
I'm.
are a
I
bunch
am-
of men
I am-
circling her in a Sally.
I
know,
apologise
Right now,
to anyone
Rachel
viewing
is
for that
below Dick.
borderline
This is
sexual
happening.
assault.
Listen, Rachel is currently below Dick in the stream because Dick is on top. What I'm saying is to Gordon as well,
I'm
who's
moving,
just below
I'm
Rachel.
moving.
I will
Gordon
take
is
this
below
opportunity
Rachel.
to say that Richard is leaving.
Sally, do
Sanity
you want to
is
stop
leaving.
this?
So as the sanity check HR department head, I'm going to have to ask you to come in for a meeting, Richard.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm always in.
Look, now it's Leon.
Ah,
that's just-
you moved.
Oh no, no, it's Sally. Oh
I'm gonna sue.
You just
Hey.
made it worse. You've just made it worse. However, I would just love-
Now Dick's
Oh,
between
it
me
feels
and
weird
Rach.
being at the top of the screen. I don't
I
like
don't
it.
Now what you're saying is Rachel is on top of Dick. That's what you're saying here. This is it. Well done, guys. Anyway,
It's even worse.
That's how you like it, isn't it?
who are you talking to, Sally? Anyway,
no. Anyway, whatever.
thank you
right.
very much for joining in the stream for the Sanity check-in. We'll be maybe we'll do one every 2 months or something. Like you say, just to check in, make sure everything's okay. But yeah, we'll get back to you on kind of schedules and that. But tomorrow, Blade Runner, you should join us for that because it's another free league game that we're looking forward to.
You
And
should
if
email
anyone
Free
wants
League
Blade
and
Runner,
tell them.
email them, let them know that we play their games. Yeah,
You never know,
sure.
they might actually put it on their channel.
You know exactly. We get a share.
That would be cool. Because you guys are
To be
great.
fair, based on how
Yes.
many views they're getting, I'm pretty sure we could work with Free League because they're not doing that
Yeah,
well.
for sure.
Shit, are we still on stream? I
Don't
mean,
say that.
Anyway, anyhow,
Thanks, Lee, for
There goes
guaranteeing me
that.
that
Yeah,
we'll never
that's
get a
it.
free
That's
league
it.
sponsor.
We'll
Yeah.
never get it there.
Thanks, Gareth, yeah.
I'll
Or
buy
a
their
D&D
shit.
one.
yeah,
Or a
Uh,
Whip Rip one. It's an Air Warhammer one.
Oh yeah, because
Again.
Richard, what he said, that's gonna like, yeah, they're like, oh, we want to
that'll
work with that
apply.
guy.
no, I was stating facts. There was nothing sexual within it. It just happens to my name is Dick. However, thank you very much for your time, guys. We will see you again soon tomorrow, hopefully. And everybody wave, smile and wave, guys.
You
Smile and
can't
wave.
see, but I'm
Bye.
waving.